disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always my co-host, the one, the only King, Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you everybody for joining us. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Canada. Hope it's as beautiful as it is here where you are right now. We got a lot to talk about. Of course, the Keith Thurman Manny Pacquiao fight, the aftermath of that sensational bout that we had last night. Before we do that though, let's get the business out of the way. Don't forget to check out our Twitter page. Don't forget to check out our Discord page. That's very, very good. I've been talking with some people there. Quags, Shepherd of Sons, Diego Bandido, I think Gonzalo's there, or John Gonzalez as well, and it's very entertaining. Check it out. Azzy was in there as well. Everybody's having fun. It's not. It's sometimes it turns into like a mini second renaissance in there, which we should be doing because we tell people all the time we're gonna do another one. We never do. So we're gonna try to set that up. Also, don't forget to check out the BDA merch that Bucho and we hired only the best European metrosexuals to get this done. The best design. So if you want to support the cause and if you want us to keep on going with the next evolution on BDA Boxing, then support us through that. You can also do it via the Super Chat. You can also do it via the Patreon page or the PayPal page. So you can do all of that. And if not, you can still continue supporting us simply by listening and simply by being loyal followers of the BDA Arena. So click that like button, click the subscribe button. I also want to give a special thanks to the Shepherd of Sons and Pavel. I know they had the wrench yesterday, and we asked them if they could please get rid of all those illegal links, illegal stream links that people leave in the YouTube page and in the chat page, and it just clogs the whole thing. So I want to give a shout out to everybody that got a wrench. I know Shepherd of Sons had one, Pavel had one. Bucho, can you clarify who else had one?
The Quacks?
I think the Quacks had one too, yeah. So shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for keeping some order in this madhouse. And after a while, there were Filipinos too coming in. And I was telling them, listen, speak English, all right? We're not in the Philippines, speak English. And
it's a free country here with the BDA Boxing.
Yeah, but I think they told me to go F myself. I think. I'm not sure. Hey, listen, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, right? Anyway, listen, we're gonna talk about the phone lines are about to be open. By the way, you can see the phone number is right there in the upper echelon of the page. So, if you want to call and talk about the great fight that we had last night, don't be afraid. Call in. We're curious to hear what people have to say about that fight. Obviously, it wasn't the fight of the year, I don't think. But I mean, the year we still got about 5 months left, 6 months left, 5 months left, 4.5. Point is, it was a pretty good fight, man, for a fight at that stage. So call in. I'm about to open the phone lines. Bucho, I know you did a. Oh yeah, does Virtuoso have a wrench or is that a fake wrench? I think that's
it's a fake wrench.
Virtuoso, if we ever have another mega event again and another marathon 10-hour stream, if you want to, we can give you that, and we're gonna try to come up with something special for you guys. Because I mean, really, it's a lot of streams to take down, a lot of illegal links that people leave there to take down. So I want to give a shout out to Shepherd the Sons and Pavel for that. I know Gonzalo had the wrench for a while, a little bit too, but he didn't know how to use it. Too many 45s down the pipe for him to focus. Yo, Gonzalo was going nuts, man. I was listening. I couldn't be on, but I was listening.
He said he was, yeah.
He said at the end of the night, he said he had 45. He consumed.
No, 345s. 345s.
Are you sure? Well, he says 3, add another 2, because he's Mexican. So when a Mexican tells you he drank 3, you add another 2. That's the general rule. So yeah, we had a lot of fun there. And then you came in with Gonzalo, recognized official corruption in boxing as well, and precise, and you gave your thoughts on that. So I'm just gonna start real quick the phone calls. I mean, set that up, and if you can just reiterate some of the things that people said last night, some of your thoughts on last night's fight. Obviously, Pacquiao winning by split decision at 40 years old, showing you that he can still hang in there with some of the youngins, top 3 welterweights. So, Bucho, take it away, and I'll give you my thoughts once I set this up. All right.
All right. Well, I have to eat crow. My prediction was Keith Thurman 10th round stoppage. I said that. I said, wait, hold on. But I was saying that Pacquiao was gonna be winning the rounds. But I said at some point age is gonna show in Pacquiao, and then that Thurman was gonna be able to catch him. I also said Thurman had to grow some balls and take his ground. So he kind of did that though. But he just didn't capitalize on. Well, to be honest, he rarely hurt Pacquiao. But when he did, which was like very rare, he should have continued to throw punches. But that's credit to Pacquiao, because Pacquiao always had Keith Thurman thinking, I mean, do I really want to come in? Because Pacquiao already knocked me down. He still has some speed. He hits hard as fuck. Just look at Thurman's face. So you got to have a credit to Pacquiao for making Thurman think twice before engaging. Well, yeah, the fight wasn't close. I know, I could have gone with Pacquiao decision or something like that. Played safe. I wanted to go a bit crazy, but the fight, a lot of us thought that the fight was going to be close. If we went to the cards, it wasn't close. Pacquiao clearly won the fight.
Yeah, well, I'll give you my thoughts on that. Could you do me a favor and go to the Blog Talk page on your end? Because here it's very slow because I'm doing a lot of things. Yeah, there's an error. Yeah, can you go on your side, please?
Yeah, I got it.
And then, okay. Meanwhile, I'm just going to read a couple of comments from the chat room. Give a shout out to the BDA family. Shout out to the Quags, Box, Mr. Coxey, Tommy H, David Abraham, Subash, Kunwar, Transnational Inc., Uncle Burnt Apostrophe, Shepherd Sons. Again, Shepherd, thank you for your contribution last night with the moderating. Box, Neto, Gypsy Boxing Style, James Doherty, Triple JJ, Quags, Gonzalo's in there as well, Danny Lopez, Mr. Coxey, Aaron Rosas, Mr. E, and many more people to come, I am sure. Let's just read a couple of the comments real quick. Magic Man says, Danny Lopez, I think Spence is a better pressure fighter than Thurman, and the best pack punches Thurman landed was when Pacman was backing up, so Spence could beat him. James Doherty says, Big Price looked like a prime Vladimir. Yeah, David Price again, winning a fight last night. Joe Lopez, shout out to Joe Lopez, says, Gonzalo is a pactard. Oh! Diego Bandido says, Red Horse Gonzalo. The Quack says, holy shit, Gonzalo. Diego Bandido says, BDA got an entire Filipino village to make those BDA shirts and mugs. Yeah, that's what they were. That's why they were here in the chat last night. They weren't. I don't know if you can speak Tagalog, but they were complaining about our lack of pay. Unrivaled Boxing Talk, aka McGregor Boxing Talk, says Gonzalo has to talk that way with Pacquiao. If he don't, he'll be deported. Yeah, they're gonna deport him. All right. Yeah, I'm not getting anything with the Block Talk Bucho. Anyway, I'll set that up later. You know what? If you can, if somebody, hold on a second.
Just close the browser and open it up again, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So while I do that, keep on going with your thoughts, and then I'll give you mine.
Yeah. Well, I'll read some comments in the chat. Rasclo222 says Thurman was exposed. Yeah. I guess if he wasn't exposed before, he was exposed now.
But okay, but let's go into the. Can you elaborate a little bit more and maybe ask him in the? Well, he'll call in hopefully. But
Russell's gonna call in and explain to us.
But when people say exposed, though, you know what does that mean? I mean,
yeah, it's. I mean, I guess it's been a few years now where we've noticed that Thurman is not what he was supposed to be. Even his name says it all, you know, like one-time Thurman, but he wasn't knocking anybody out as of late. So is that it has been exposed? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's go ahead.
He got Pacquiao's respect. I mean, he punched hard enough so that Pacquiao just couldn't run him over.
Yes, that's
so the power.
True. I mean, he is durable.
Oh yeah.
Look at his fucking face, man.
And the power is legit. Obviously, Pacquiao is a harder puncher. And I don't want to spend all this afternoon talking about the power, because it's not just the power that makes these guys good, but it is a big part of the package, you have to admit. I mean, Pacquiao, if he didn't have the power, he'd just be what's the word I'm looking for? High output activity, like a Juan Diaz, but with better footwork. So, it's the power does make a difference, guys. Let's not get it twisted. Okay?
But there's much more, like you say.
Yeah. Okay, I'm in I don't know what was going on with the Blog Talk. So while I'm setting this up, it's working now. While I'm setting this up, I'll just give you my thoughts on the fight. I got the prediction wrong as well. I thought Thurman by decision. And when I saw the fight, I mean, as they were announcing the decision, I said, well, they're going to give it to Keith Thurman, because I thought it was a very close fight. All right, let me just mute this meanwhile. But yeah, I thought it was a very close fight. And at the beginning, I thought, all right, Thurman won this. I rewatched the fight just now. And I got to tell you, I had it Pacquiao by a point. So I'm willing to admit that I was wrong in this sense, although it could have gone either way. I still feel that way. But Pacquiao did. Yeah, I think it still could have gone to Thurman, not by much. Oh, hold on a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds.
5 seconds, people.
3, 2, 1.
Anyway, listen. We're live now on Blog Talk, so if you want to call in, guys. There we go. So if you guys want to call in, numbers are right up there. Tell us what we got right, what we got wrong. Tell us your predictions. What was your prediction? Tell us what you thought about the fight. Call in. It's toll free, I believe, if you're within North America. So, like I was saying, Bucho, I thought...
It's not toll free, I think. If you live in the US, Canada is cheap. If you live in the UK, I think I don't know.
Yeah, outside the North America, I don't know what to tell you.
You're basically calling to California. So,
I had the fight... As I rescored it today, I had it by Pacquiao by 1 point. It was a very close fight. There were some rounds where Thurman was doing better work in the beginning, in the middle of the rounds. When he started to take over a little bit, he was doing good work in the middle, and then Pacquiao would do good work near the end. Because here's the thing about Pacquiao. He's got so much experience fighting these guys. He knows how to pace himself right now at 40 years old. And he was pacing himself a little bit. You could tell he was saving himself because he knew he couldn't maintain the output from the first 4 rounds. But the first 4 rounds, whoa, he was schooling Thurman. He was trashing him. And I couldn't help but think, and I told you this, Bucho, which you also mentioned this last night, if this would have been prime Pacquiao, Keith Thurman doesn't get out of it. I mean, maybe he does. Maybe because again, the Cotto fight, this was very similar to the Miguel Cotto fight. Miguel Cotto could have made it to the final bell, but he was taking a beating in there. He was just in survival mode, and I think that would have been the same thing with Keith Thurman. I think he's got the good footwork to get out of the way and survive 12 rounds. against a prime Pacquiao. One of the reasons why he kept getting hit against Pacquiao because he was there to try to hit Pacquiao. He didn't want to pull an Adrian Broner and just try to pot shot his way to a decision. He stood there with Pacquiao sometimes, try to back him up in the beginning, but you're taking a risk against Pacquiao. See, this is the thing when people tell me, "Oh, Pacquiao's power is underrated." I mean, Pacquiao's punching power is overrated. That's what some people were saying in the build-up to this fight. And when I would ask him in the message boards and all that, well, why? How is it overrated? And they go, well, he's never knocked out anybody in 7 years. Okay, but he keeps dropping people in the first couple of rounds. He drops people that usually don't get dropped. So when you drop world-class fighters in almost every single fight, or at least stun them, you got punching power. See, this is the thing, Bucho, when people say, oh, his power's overrated. Like, even with Deontay Wilder, people say that his power's overrated. Well, obviously, if you think that Wilder's got the type of power where he just graces you and you go out cold, obviously nobody has that type of power. That type of power doesn't exist, but he's got the type of power where if he touches anybody, he can hurt them. You've seen fighters say that when they talk about the hardest punchers they fought, and they go, there's a couple of guys there where when they hit you, you go, whoa, that's different type of power. So when pro fighters can say that about another pro fighter, that's legit. And that's the type of power Pacquiao brings. He catches you all the time. And against Broner, he didn't catch him early. That was one of the rare instances where Pacquiao didn't catch a guy early, but he did catch him late. So that power is there for 12 rounds. So when people tell me Pacquiao doesn't have power, I don't know what to tell you. You don't understand what power is. All right?
If Pacquiao would have gone for broke, if Thurman would have gone for broke, maybe he would have knocked out Pacquiao, but then again, he would have gotten knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the power is there, and Thurman at some point, I guess he adjusted and became more weary of Pacquiao's power. That's where he didn't get knocked out again.
Right.
But even then, he got hurt to the body, right? So you can't escape
the body,
Pacquiao, man.
Now, that's the thing. By the way, Bucho, did you send Stu the link?
Yeah.
All right. He's probably hungover or something. I don't know. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get Gonzalo in here. Gonzalo, you want in again? I don't know if you're too tired.
Yeah, what time is it over there, man?
Gee, well, it must be night now, right?
3 a.m., 2 a.m.?
Well, if he comes in, we'll ask him. Let me just send him the link.
We have a phone call also.
All right. Let's see this phone call right now. All right, 510, you're on the air, 510. You're on the air. 510, can you hear me?
Fuck it. Just hang up.
Nah, I'm gonna keep him on the line, see what happens. maybe the phone dropped. Probably something wrong. Let's see what people in the chat room are saying. 8-4 plus the knockdown on my card. Oh, I think they're talking about White versus Rivas. Wilder is looking to fight Ortiz and Stiverne, says Nordic Warrior. Magic Man says like okay, they're not talking about that. Official Scorecard Boxing, shout out to Official who was here last night as well. Says I had a 9-3 watching it live. Yeah, I think they're talking about White versus the Quack says good caller. Yeah. Yeah, great call. Chris Gonzalez, shout out to Chris, says Thurman, at least he didn't get on his bike like I thought he would. He gave it his best shot. Yeah, we told you, we knew that one of the things we predicted was, we didn't all get the right prediction, but one thing we did get right was that Thurman was going to give it his best. He wasn't going to go in there to just run. Bayer says, LDBC says it makes Mayweather look greater. Yeah, they're going to try to get some backseat wins. All right, we got 510 back. 510. Can you hear me? 510.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, because I called earlier had to remind y'all that I was 49-0 in my predictions as well. But can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Is this Rasclot, by the way?
Yeah, this is right. Yeah, the one and only, of course, 49-0.
That's right.
What's the topic?
Oh, you know what? Come on, Rasclot.
Don't try to what was your prediction?
Okay, well, my prediction was a split decision win for Manny Pacquiao. It's on record.
It is on the record. It is on the record. But I just wanted to tell you. I just wanted to tell you, Rascal. Stop trying to make that your tagline. What's the topic today? You know what the topic is, man. What, you think we're gonna talk about Teofimo Lopez? Come on, man. Don't test me, man.
Oh no, I thought you guys was gonna talk about Teofimo or Dillian White.
Well, you know what? I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious. Listen, you know what? We didn't talk about that. I'm curious to get your thoughts on that. But first, let's get to the Thurman Pacquiao fight. You did get the prediction right on the money. You said Pacquiao split decision. I'm looking at the sheet right here. So congratulations on that prediction. What are your thoughts on the fight?
Well, what honestly, and I know, I'm sure, because you guys watch, you guys know, he looked old last night, and I think it's just a matter of Thurman really being limited, really being slow, and I really believe that 2-year layoff really affected Keith Thurman. If that was Errol Spence last night, Thurman would have got stopped.
Mm-hmm. If that was who you said?
Huh?
If that was who, he would have gotten stopped, you said?
I think Spence would have stopped Keith Thurman last night.
Oh, yeah. I think so, too. Raslov, explain something to me. How come Thurman, because, okay, it's one thing to get hurt in one fight to the body. It's one thing to get hurt, too. But now 3 times this bad where he can't hide the fact that he's gotten hurt to the body. What do you think it is? You think it's the defense? Because it can't be the abs. The abs don't protect that part of the body. So what do you think is going on there?
You know, the only thing that I can say about that, because you're right, the abs, they don't protect the body. And I think maybe he's in the gym, maybe he's not training for it. I think when he spars, maybe throughout his career, it could be a weird situation where he didn't have to take body shots, coming up. It's kind of weird to me. This is almost the 3rd time that he's been hurt to the body, and it shows. You know, I don't know what it is. I can't say other than maybe he just has a weak midsection.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
And let's because at the end of the day, Manny Pacquiao isn't really the biggest devastating body puncher either, and he was able to hurt him to the body. So I don't know.
Now,
it's a weird situation with him.
I gotta ask you, going into that you picked Pacquiao by split decision. Were you surprised when Pacquiao dropped him because in the first round, or did you know that okay, Thurman's probably gonna adjust and this is going the distance?
I was surprised that he got dropped, and I think that had to do with him underestimating his footwork. I think he slipped up, backing up. When they showed the replay, I only watched it once, but when they showed the replay, I don't know if Pacquiao landed a shot when he was backing up and did his feet get parallel, because he wasn't hurt.
Yeah, that's
he
a thing.
Wasn't hurt, so maybe he caught him backing up and his feet was parallel.
I was rewatching the fight today, and I was watching that sequence in slow motion because he did do the shuffle a little bit. He wasn't he was walking back a little bit, but his legs, he didn't get caught while his legs were crossed. He was technically in position, like in sort of like a southpaw stance, because he was shuffling back. But he got caught.
Okay, so that was a legit drop from the power.
I think so, man. Yeah, because he got clipped and he went.
Okay.
Anyway, you'll have to rewatch the fight and let us know.
I was surprised, and then when I saw what the rounds where Keith Thurman looked really good, I believe was 6, 7, 8, and 9. I believe 6, 7, and 8. No, 6, 7, and 8, where he was boxing and moving and counter punching Pacquiao. I don't think. I mean, if he was able to keep that pace, then he would have won the fight. But I think his just conditioning is just so poor, along with the layoff. He can't keep up that pace because plus Pacquiao is still coming and still coming at him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's a weird, like if it was Cesar Chavez Sr. in his prime, like it's no way he would keep up with that pace with Chavez. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think his conditioning is poor. Yeah.
I gotta give him credit for the fact that when he fought Porter, for example, he can keep or Jesus Autocaraz, he can keep moving and moving and moving. That takes conditioning too with the legs. But you're right. I mean, he couldn't keep up with a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao. He barely could, I should say.
Yeah, he barely could. And like I said, this wasn't the same guy who fought Soto Karass or Porter. I really feel like that layoff really, really hurt him. And I don't know what was going on with him with the layoff. Was he trying to do what Mayweather did and let the guys beat each other up? I don't know what it is, but I can tell you right now, Thurman will never be the same fighter.
Well, listen, first of all, I got to
give... he was.
we got to give Pacquiao credit because the guy's a beast. 40-year-olds or not,
Of course.
I mean, his power is legit.
Hands down.
Yeah, he's got experience.
Future ATG.
But
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. Keith Thurman, he this is the type of fight that's going to take years off of him. And Pacquiao as well, too. At 40 years old, he shouldn't. It's not good for him to get into this type of fights. But the question now is, where do you see Thurman going, and where do you see Pacquiao going after this?
Well, in my opinion, obviously we know that Manny Pacquiao is going to fight again because you can't. It's hard to say no to the big payday. In my opinion, I think he should retire because the last person I want to see beat him is Spence. I really don't want to see Spence beat him. And number two, with Thurman still has a chance to elevate again. I just, because this welterweight division only really has Spence and Crawford right now, and so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm not even sure if Keith Thurman could beat Ugas, and I'm just being honest. I don't even know if he could beat Ugas right now.
I think he can beat Ugas. But anyway, listen, Rascal, we're gonna move on. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you for having me on.
Always. And good on you
later,
for the
guys.
prediction, man. All right, take it easy,
All right,
Rascal.
peace.
50-0 now. 50-0 with the predictions, apparently. So yeah, he had it right. We got Gonzalo too on the line. Gonzalo, you there?
Yes, hello.
Good. I mean, hello. Hello, good to have you on board, Gonzalo. How are you feeling right now? Because I think you were up 24 hours, right?
I got drunk and afterwards I fell asleep and then all of a sudden I woke up like at 7 p.m.
So what time is it over there now in the Philippines?
2 in the morning.
2 in the morning, jeez. And all right, so you still got the energy going.
I watched the replay.
And what did you think? Did you glean anything from watching the fight again? Any change your opinion on anything or?
Well, I'm listening to Rasclar and you guys discussing about the body shot, how he might not have the endurance to handle one.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, well, from my appreciation, it caught him to the liver because when Thurman got hit, he froze. Like a second or two afterwards, he was there just with his arms down.
Mm-hmm.
So he froze. That means his legs weren't there. And being that Manny Pacquiao's a left-hander, the left hand aligns with the liver. And if you go back to Luis Collazo, he was also a southpaw. Okay? So what I'm trying to say, a left-hander has more probabilities of hitting you with that hand to that side of the body where if he's not known for being a particularly good puncher to the body, it doesn't mean that he cannot throw one shot. Everybody can throw one shot. That's really hard. Okay, just because he doesn't throw it like all the time and hurts you with it. But I think he's underrated as far as hitting to the body. That's Manny.
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao, he should go to the body more. And if he would have maybe done a little bit of a better job against Mayweather, a more composed way of going to the body, maybe being more consistent with that attack as well, it could have played dividends. He's never been the greatest at setting up his body shots, which is a shame because, again, the reason why he was able to beat Morales in the rematch and stop him, which, by the way, was the first time Morales had ever been stopped or even dropped. Because, I mean, he got dropped in the first Barrera fight, but it was a weird knockdown. But, yeah, Manny Pacquiao's power is legit. And, again, I don't want to harp on too much on the power because it's a mix of everything right now that makes Pacquiao still one of the best pound-for-pound fighters. With this win, he should be in the pound-for-pound list. He still has hand speed. He still has power, but the problem is his stamina a little bit because now at 40 years old, he can't keep the pace that he could before. And it's the same thing with all-time great fighters. Old great fighters can always do what they used to do back when they were young. They just can't do it as consistently in a fight. So what he did last night, the first 4 rounds against Thurman, he was doing against Cotto and De La Hoya. Like he could do that for 10, 12 rounds. Now, though, he has to pace himself a little bit better. And Spence, I think it's a bad styles matchup for him. It's a bad styles matchup, I think. But by the way, I don't know if Spence can walk through those shots because he's gonna try to. A couple of things too that I just want to touch on because I didn't get to talk about this last night. Thurman did the mistake that almost everybody made with Pacquiao, but which is to look at the little guy and say, you know what, I think I can walk him down. This was very reminiscent of the first Juan Manuel Marquez Manny Pacquiao fight, where Marquez tried to push Pacquiao back, And even he said in an interview one time, he says, "Man, you go in the ring with him, and he looks smaller than you, and you think you can catch him, make it easy, and you start catching him with shots, and you think, oh, this is gonna be easy, and then he unloads that 1-2, and that hand speed and the foot speed, which is how he cuts the ring, the distance so quickly. Surprise takes you by surprise, and before you know it, you've tasted his power. So Thurman made that mistake. He was one of the few that tried to do it in a long time, to really try walk Pacquiao down, because almost everybody else, they know that they try to fight him from the outside. They know about his power. Keith Thurman is made of a different disposition. He believed that he was going to be able to hurt Pacquiao and not vice versa. So, but he ended up getting caught. But he made for a very, very good fight. And the other thing about Keith Thurman was, I expected him to use his jab a little bit more. I mean, I didn't expect him to use his jab a little bit more, because that's not the type. He started doing it late in the fight, but afterwards he had to let it go again after he got hurt to the body. And now we're gonna see what Pacquiao does in the future. But again, what
that's the whole point of the show. What's next?
Yeah, that's the whole.
It's interesting how you say that. Like, a fighter in his later years, with that experience, can usually do what he used to do before, but not as often.
Mm-hmm.
I think in one department, ever since, like you were referring to the Morales fight, I think that Pacquiao greatly improved through the years was that right hand, and we saw it tonight, because he was able to drop this guy with the right hand, not only relying on the left straight.
Well, that's the other thing. Pacquiao did a good job in the Broner fight of snapping more jabs. That's one of his weak spots, had always been one of his weak spots. But against Broner, he was popping some good jabs, and then near the end of the fight, he stopped throwing them for some reason. Here in the Thurman fight, there were spots where he was, especially in the first 4 rounds, when he had Thurman all over the place. He was throwing him off with feints and all that, and he was blinding Keith Thurman a little bit with the jab, but then he got tired, and the feints and the jab disappeared. If he could have kept that up, it would have been a long night for Keith Thurman. By the way,
he got dropped in the first round.
Yeah, go ahead.
When he got dropped in the first round, I thought that was really, really important, because just like the Mosley fight, when he dropped him, that kind of made him hesitate, like, for the next few rounds. That means if Thurman was going to put up a fight where he thought that he wasn't going to win, like, the first half of the fight and kind of coast into a victory, that was taken away from him. That whole idea, that premise that, because he didn't want to engage anymore for the first few rounds. So he did come back strong in the second half of the fight, where he kind of like waited till Pacquiao, like his first advance kind of like subsided. He did kind of steal the middle rounds, but it wasn't enough, because we saw what happened in the end.
Yeah. Keith Thurman did about as well as he could. He did try to walk Pacquiao down in certain spots, and then he would try to make Pacquiao come to him and counter. I mean, he did everything he was supposed to. He's just not on Pacquiao's level, and that's saying something. I'm not saying Keith Thurman is a top 3 welterweight. To get to the level that he's at, you need skill and you need intangibles when it comes to talent, hand speed, power, athleticism, and even then, he's not. I mean, Manny Pacquiao is just one of those, one in a million. By the way, we got McGregor Boxing Talk on the line, aka Unrivaled Boxing Talk. Oh, no, hold on a second. Yeah, Unrivaled Boxing Talk. I always forget his new name. McGregor, are you there?
Yes, sir. What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Gentlemen?
Good to have you on board. McGregor, your prediction was, I'm looking at the sheet here, draw. Split draw.
Yeah,
so you almost had that right. I think most people got it almost right.
Without the drop, my scorecards would have been right too.
Well, yeah, that's true. Did you agree with the decision at the end of the day?
Yeah, I did. I scored at 115, 112 Pacquiao.
There you go. Okay, so there's no country. Now, do you think the fight could have gone either way, though? Like, if it would have gone to Thurman, would you have been okay with it?
Well, there were swing rounds in there, so I could have seen a draw. I could have seen at most a point to Thurman if I was being extremely generous. Extremely generous. I felt Pacquiao would fight. I really like. I could have made it. I could have given him an extra round, Pacquiao. There was one round that was split where I wasn't too sure, and I gave it to Thurman.
Well, could the 10th round, which I think that's the round where he hurt Thurman to the body, could that have been scored 10-8, or it wasn't wide enough? It wasn't that dominant for Pacquiao. What do you guys think?
It's not that dominant. Not that dominant. I would have needed to see him really harm a lot more, like really go on him, have him against the ropes, dominate him instead of just having him back up and look like he's running to the toilet to go have a dump. because that's what it looked like. Really,
A great
looked
way
like
of
he was
putting
going
it.
to try and go to the bathroom because he was constipated.
Yeah, because he got him to the liver, I believe. If Pacquiao would have followed up and he would have realized like a split second afterward that he was hurt, he could have landed a shot upstairs because he was vulnerable. He couldn't defend himself, but he didn't realize that he stepped back until he caught on. He was attacked him, but to Thurman's credit, he was able to respond in the final seconds with a good left hook, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't like totally dominate. He could have taken more advantage of it.
I was a little sad when he hurt Thurman to the body and he tried to get to him and his arms were flailing slowly, and I said, man, I'd never seen Pacquiao that tired before. I mean, you could tell that 40 years old really did caught up to him, and it's a shame when you see an older fighter getting the best of a younger fighter, and you know that if he was younger, I mean the older fighter, if he was just a couple of years younger, he could have maybe dropped the other guy again, but he just couldn't do it, man. He couldn't pull that speed up, hand speed. By the way, speaking of the punch stats, according to the official punch stats, again, guys, remember, this is just an estimation. Pacquiao landed 195, Thurman landed 210 punches, and Pacquiao threw 686, Thurman threw 571. So Thurman, according to those CompuBox punch stats numbers, he landed more shots and at a better percentage. But I'll tell you this though, guys, and we talked about this before, and we talked about it too in the video that I did over at BDA Live, the film analysis. Pacquiao has very good defense, underrated defense. Obviously, it's not as good as his contemporaries Mayweather, or it doesn't look as his contemporaries Mayweather, because Mayweather's focuses more on defense. He's more of a defensive fighter for the most part, one shot at a time. So his defense is more, it stands out more. But Pacquiao, for an offensive fighter, he's pretty hard to catch, and he was blocking a lot of those shots. Sometimes, Keith Thurman let his hands go. It's true. I do believe he threw more shots, but Pacquiao it seemed to me he was blocking a lot of those shots. What do you guys think?
He was blocking, but I think he was also getting hit too. Like there was opportunities where Thurman could have really caught him with a good shot, but he just didn't get to him from what I saw. Not saying that it's easy, obviously, because I'm not the one in there. But because they were exchanging, and Pacquiao, he realized that when he got hit, or like sometimes he would no, he did. Sometimes he would like understand that this guy is gonna throw a punch, and like Thurman didn't like do anything, but he realized that he was in a vulnerable position, I think, and he's kind of lucky that he escaped in some of those instances where he didn't get connected with the good shot, because he was there to be hit.
Hey,
that made any sense?
Can I just read the quick comments in the chat room real quick to that point, and to the point about the punch stats as well? People are saying, I think Aaron Roses, I think he's talking about the punch stats. He says, ha ha ha, those are atrocious. Ali Burton says, the judging under the influence. Maxi Pat says, Thurman got a few affirmative action rounds on the cards. L.R. Chiga says, Pacquiao had landed him more rounds. Pugala Khan says, don't trust CompuBox. David Abraham says, yeah, I can see that. I'm not super sold on Spence as the welterweight kingpin. The Brook win was fine, but he's not tested against other elite welterweights. Apology Man, shout out to Apology, says, you know where I am, you know who I am. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
What the hell is he talking about?
Aaron Roses says, they have human counting the punches, we all make mistakes. Yeah, that's why it's just an approximation. Ricardo Shilly Shally says, H Money is a bum. Ricardo, I don't know who you are, but I think we can all agree on that. Rod T. Davis says, hey boys, shout out to Rod T. Davis, and so on and so forth. By the way, I see we got Recognize on the line. You know what that means.
Don't get fooled when they tell you that the crime rate is down in New York. Every time I watch the local news, they're always talking about, well, there was a stabbing here, there was a stabbing there was a shooting there, but the crime is down.
By the way, Recognize, I don't know if you heard this, but we have, thank you for being on, first of all. I don't know, we had Johnny Boy, but we had to kick him out of the hangout because I forgot to tell you guys, he's on a suspension. He's on a 3 months medical suspension after the beating Recognize gave him in that trivia show. So we won't be seeing Johnny Boy for a while. He can't spar.
Johnny Boy.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Johnny.
I was looking for a tune-up, bro.
You know, I did kind of hurt my...
Oh.
McGregor, I'm ready. You're gonna be a hell of a challenge, but you know, I might go on some might go on that Panama juice. But anyway.
All right. So first of all, recognize.
I'm kidding. I wouldn't cheat.
No, yeah. No Puerto Rican has ever cheated before.
No, Puerto Ricans are great people. Come on.
Shut up.
Yeah, you won't cheat again by looking at the chat and getting the answers from there and pausing your answers.
Oh, what are you talking about, McGregor? You have no proof of that. No proof.
That's right.
What if I did?
The Trinidad double wrapping.
Prove it to me. Come on. Prove it.
Okay.
Another Irish lie.
Not right now, but I'll prove it.
I don't like your accusations, okay? I do not like them. I don't appreciate
Anyway, can I just say something real quick? I just remembered what I wanted to say about the fight, about the Thurman-Pacquiao fight, which is, it's interesting because Thurman at some point, he tried to walk Pacquiao down after I think it was in the 4th or 5th round. He put his hands up and he said, fuck it, I'm going to try to walk Pacquiao down, which is something that not a lot of guys try to do. The only guys that could stand in front of Pacquiao with their guards up that I remember, Claudio, who did a very good job of blocking shots with his guard up against a power puncher. Brandon Rios, who looked like the Elephant Man by the end of the fight. Bradley tried to do it in spots. Bradley tried to do it in spots in the second fight, and then he ran out of juice and just went into a little bit of a survival mode. And now Thurman, and you saw what happened. One round of Thurman just doing that, trying to catch shots with his gloves, and he went back to his corner bleeding, and he knew he couldn't do that for 12 rounds. Pacquiao has that type of power. Again, I have to say this. He has the type of power where if you stand in front of him with your hands up, he's going to get through that guard. It might not look like it in the beginning, but once you go back to your corner, you're going to see that guy bleeding all over the place. So, man, Pacquiao's power is legit. Recognize, I know you were here in the chat room, in the hangout last night. You had to deal with Gonzalo going nuts. How did you deal with that?
It was fun.
It was a fun podcast.
Gonzalo's he does great commentary. He gets a little too excited, and I think he had like a bit of a delay because he was like, we were talking and he just kept talking like he didn't hear us. He's like, this and that. And I'm like, I don't think Gonzalo can hear us right now. Maybe I think he said he drank like 4 or 5 40 ounces of malt liquor.
Jeez.
So that can do it to you. But I thought he did good, and I thought it was fun. Was fun.
Yeah, Stu too. Stu had to try to calm Gonzalo down. But
God damn, it's hot.
Yeah. Hey, listen, by the way, guys, call in. All the listeners, the number is right up there on your screen. Don't forget to call in. Give us your thoughts on the Pacquiao-Thurman fight. Speaking of Pacquiao-Thurman, let's talk about a little something here. Everybody's talking about Pacquiao against who's he going to fight next. If I'm him, I should retire, man. I would retire on a high spot. But fighters at 40 years old, fighters, if they win a fight against a younger fighter, they're not going to retire. They're going to ride the gravy train for as long as they can. So, realistically, should Pacquiao get in there against Spence? I mean, is that a good idea?
You don't want to retire. Then we're going to be stuck with a question of what if.
Yeah. You see, like, look, to Mayweather's credit, he retired. He pretty much retired right after the Pacquiao fight, right? I mean, chose to fight Berto in his last fight. So I take it as he said, you know what, I'm done after Pacquiao, right? Pacquiao's totally different. He's a totally different mindset. He's like, look, I'm gonna stick in the game, and if I can still beat fighters like Broner and Thurman, why not try to fight guys like Spence, Crawford, or even a Sean Porter? So, look, I don't want to see it because I have a feeling I know what's going to happen. I think he loses those kind of fights. I think even Porter would probably be too strong for him at this point. I'm not saying that Pacquiao doesn't have a shot with those guys, but I would probably go with them, with those guys at this point. And as a Pacquiao fan, you kind of like fear the worst, that he's going to take a real bad beating, and that will be the last memory of him. But he doesn't need to worry about that. When you've done what he's done throughout his career, I don't think you worry about that. You keep fighting until somebody tells you can't. You're not the best fighter anymore. I am.
Right.
I could beat you, and that's Pacquiao.
Yeah, I don't think he's not gonna get the Roy Jones treatment, because Pacquiao did fight everybody. And what I mean by the Roy Jones treatment is, after he ended up losing a whole bunch of fights in a row, people started saying, "Oh, you see, he was overrated. He only won because he was the more physically talented guy. But once that physical talent deteriorated, he was just an average guy." Meanwhile, Pacquiao, he did fight everybody, and everything he's done post, I want to say, the fourth Marcus fight. Everything he's done since then is just gravy. For me, his whole welterweight run is gravy. It's icing on the cake. It's
an amazing
he has nothing.
run.
Yeah, he has nothing to lose after this point.
The welterweight run is what made him one of the best of all time, though.
Yeah. That's
if you take away the welterweight run, he still would be a Hall of Famer and everything for sure. But he wouldn't be put into that category of one of the best of all time. And by the way, Chris K, thank you for your contribution. He says that he watched the fight in a theater, and the crowd was on their feet when Thurman went down in that first round.
Yeah, that was epic, that moment right there. Shout out to Chris K. Thank you for the contribution, Chris. I want just to say something. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I like this win especially because there was no catch weights involved, and it was a guy in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they say like, oh well, maybe he had a catch weight when he fought De La Hoya, and like a 2-pound catch weight when he fought Cotto. Oldley was old.
That was a misconception. People didn't understand that the De La Hoya fight was not a catch weight. De La Hoya said, "I don't have a dance partner. Pacquiao, come up to 147 and I'll fight you."
Hey, listen, I still have the messages from message boards and the Ring magazine as well, where people were saying that it was going to be a mismatch. Everybody said,
"Yeah, of course."
I'm going to toot my own horn here, and I think I told Bucho can back me up on this, because I remember I told him when the fight was going to happen, I said I think Pacquiao's going to be too quick for De La Hoya. De La Hoya doesn't handle southpaws with hand speed very well, but obviously I didn't expect Pacquiao to stop De La Hoya. But it wasn't a mismatch to me going in. De La Hoya certainly thought so. That's why he ended up showing up into the fight looking like an AIDS patient.
It was a question of a bigger guy fighting a smaller guy, and then
but Oscar
De La Hoya still had speed and everything, and in my opinion, he looked shot from the beginning. Even if I watched the fight again, and De La Hoya wasn't really, like, you could tell it wasn't the same De La Hoya from the beginning. He wasn't even fresh. He wasn't throwing jabs. Look at how many punches he threw in those first few rounds. Absolutely, almost nothing, man.
Well, I also want to say something in regards to the Pacquiao his career. Like I said, everything's gravy, and we do have to compare him to Shepard says Butch and BDA were 7 and 8 years old back then. I wish that way I could be younger right now. No, the thing is, and I heard you guys talking about this a little bit about Mayweather and Pacquiao. We do have to bring up Mayweather because he is Pacquiao's contemporary. The race is still on to see who is the best fighter of their generation. It's got to be between Mayweather and Pacquiao. And of course, this decade is about to end. We're at 2019, and Pacquiao and Mayweather both continue doing very good work in this decade. So the question is, who is the best of the generation? Is it Pacquiao or Mayweather? And I gotta tell you, even though Mayweather did beat Pacquiao in their fight head-to-head, that doesn't mean anything if one guy gets better wins over his victor. And at this point, Pacquiao being a top 3 welterweight who is younger and who has hand speed and punching power, I'm giving the edge to Pacquiao in this one right now, head-to-head against Mayweather in terms of all-time great status. What do you guys think?
Yeah, because this is a level of competition. I know he lost by like a few rounds, a round or two. I mean, that's just on the scorecards. Pac lost to May on the scorecards. Okay, but what really like saves face, especially if people want to qualify like in this day and age. Mayweather's career, they're really going to put a value on that O. But as far as competition is concerned, aside from that fight between each other, Pacquiao's got the bigger names because Mayweather fought McGregor, he fought Andre Berto, guys that were B-level fighters.
Well, Conor McGregor wasn't even a B-level. I mean, this was a guy with no professional fights at all. It was an exhibition fight. Same thing with the Chinese kickboxer, as Recognized likes to call him. So let's not. I don't even count those fights.
Because I'm picking up from 2011. This doesn't include the Cotto fight, but in 2011 you start off with what, Mosley and up, right?
Yeah,
Mosley and down.
Well, I mean, Mayweather. Go ahead, Recognize. Go ahead. Okay, go
ahead. Look, this is what I'll say: that Mayweather just he passed up on the opportunity to fight certain guys that Pacquiao fought and dominated. So to me, Pacquiao's the better fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what might be a knock on him is that he got knocked out by Marcus.
Yeah, that's
The people might say, "Oh, well, he's undefeated, and this guy got knocked out, and he
Yeah,
beat him."
yeah, I can see that. And if somebody posed that, that's fine with me. But I go by the overall resume. I think that, and then you take that fight. He didn't separate himself from Pacquiao. Okay, he won on styles and political points. That's what he won on.
That's true. That's very true. And here's the other thing. You look at the early years of their best wins. So Pacquiao is from 2002 onward, right? Mayweather started getting his big wins early on in 1998 when he got the Fighter of the Year award after he beat Angelo Manfredi and Genaro Hernandez. So Mayweather did some very good work in the lower weights. So did Pacquiao. And then once they moved up to welterweight, that's when they continued. So let's look at it post 2012, for example. Pacquiao got a win over Bradley in the rematch, which he should have gotten in the first fight, by the way. Then he beat up Chris Algieri. Okay. 2014. 2014, he beat up Algieri and Bradley. 2015, that was a Mayweather fight. And that same year, he beats Bradley a third time. Or was that 2016? I don't know if I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah, no, you're right. That was 2016. He beat him. That was after the, that was after the Mayweather fight.
Fiasco, yeah.
By the way, when we talk about like his earlier wins, I think Pacquiao, like, we need to go back to '98 to be fair, because when he beat Sasakul beat 4 top 10 Ring magazine fighters in the division, and he had 5 back-to-back title defenses. That's a great win for your very first title.
Right.
Who's that? The guy from Indonesia?
Uh-huh.
You're talking about Pacquiao's earlier years in the lower weight class, right, McGregor?
Yeah, you're talking to flyweight when he beat Sasakul to win his first title.
I mean, look, like McGregor could go back like he's fucking like he's got it in front of his face, but he brings up a really good point. If he was doing that already over there, like, look, I'll admit to you that I don't know his opponent's resume back then. If he beat that type of fighter, if he beat a fighter like that with a resume like that, he was
4
ready
top
on
10 in the division according to Ring magazine. That's not a joke, man.
Correct, right. So I think that this was a guy who was even at that weight class, and I get what Bucho's saying, that his like all-time great stamp, when we're talking about one of the best fighters ever, is what he did at welterweight, and I agree with that. But you can see that there was that type of potential from what McGregor's bringing up back in flyweight when he was 112 pounds.
But the thing is, there wasn't that type of potential when he beat Sasakul to go on and become a world champion up at 154 by beating Antonio Margarito. If anyone had predicted that, they probably would have got 7 billion to 1.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, nobody, what he ended up doing, you can't predict shit like that. Like, nobody's gonna say, this little, nobody was gonna say some Roman Gonzalez. Yeah, he's capable of doing the same thing too, right? He's gonna go up to 154 one day, and he's gonna be a champion up there, or 147.
To give you an idea, right? You know when Roy Jones mentioned like nobody's made a bigger leap or anything like in terms of weights and everything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when he went from light heavyweight to heavyweight and the 25-pound leap, right? Pacquiao, right, in percentage of body weight throughout his career, went up 40% of his entire body weight. That's madness. That's madness. That's like a guy at 160 going up to 245 pounds and beating a 250-pound heavy.
It's called madness and steroids. But anyway, the point is this, and I wanted to. I'm half kidding, but seriously, I mean, Pacquiao. You know what hurts Mayweather too, compared to Pacquiao, is that, let's not forget this: the lost year when Mayweather took 2008 off and most of 2009. Let's face it, and Pacquiao picked up the mantle and said, "All right, I'll face Hatton, I'll face Eloya, I'll face Cotto, I'll face all these guys." That Mayweather decided to wait, because remember, 2008, we had Cotto, we still had Mosley, we had undefeated Paul Williams, who was the boogeyman of that division. Pacquiao came in there, Hatton was still around, 140, 147. Mayweather decided to take a year off because he didn't want to box anymore. He was complaining in the last 24/7 during the Hatton fight about his hands, about how he didn't want to keep boxing anymore because he'd been boxing since he was, 5 years old. So he took the year off, kind of like Andrew Ward is doing right now with light heavyweights. He's taking it, easy. He doesn't want to fight these guys. Mayweather started sweeping the floor. And that's when Mayweather decided to come back, which is surprising to me. Why isn't Mayweather now, after he sees Pacquiao take out a young top 3 welterweight? Imagine if Mayweather decided, you know what? I'm going to try to one-up Manny Pacquiao, and I'm going to take on Errol Spence.
You don't have the power.
Okay, that's the thing.
First of all, Errol Spence will beat his ass at this point. I'm sorry, yeah, Errol Spence would beat him up. He would hurt him. That's because Mayweather's old. I'm not telling you that he would have did this to Mayweather that for Pacquiao or in his earlier than that. No, that's a different ballgame. But as of this point, no, he don't want that. Spence will hurt him, and I've been saying that the way to make Spence a star, if you're on the Al Heyman side of things, right? The way to make Spence a star before Pacquiao came was you put him in there. You try to talk Mayweather into it and say, look, you'd be doing me a huge favor if you give Spence a fight. Okay? Because if Spence wins, in which I think he would, that'll automatically, just change his status in boxing and how people would know him, because that would trend everywhere all over the internet. Mm-hmm. No, it's like, I get what you're saying. I would be shocked if Mayweather said, you know what, I'm going to one-up Pacquiao. I'm fighting Spence. Right. Don't expect that to happen.
I think people caught on and they kind of got tired from like what they were commentating yesterday on the PBC. Even though Thurman, like the back foot, getting on your bicycle, when Thurman stood up and fought, I mean, he got credit, but the few times that he did have to back up, who was that announcer that used to be a boxer, Ray Mancini, was saying, and it looks like he's getting on his bicycle now. So they were real critical of that style. Yeah. I don't know if that's just now because they got sick of what Mayweather did in the past. That this kind of like with time, that's kind of becoming like where it's not going to live up well for his legacy.
Right. Yeah.
That's you know what Pacquiao won up for me, where he won up Mayweather. It's back in 2009, 2010, around there, when Pacquiao went up after he fought Ricky Hatton, goes back to welterweight, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna fight Miguel Cotto, I'm gonna fight Joshua Clottey, and then I'm gonna also fight Margarito.
Yeah,
the guys that Mayweather was hesitant to fight at the time. And then he goes on and he beats these guys pretty impressive, right? Mm-hmm. We know what he did to Cotto. We know what he did to Margarito. He basically had Clottey just, in defensive mode the whole fight. So, like, that's where he started to one-up Mayweather. Now, Mayweather could have changed that had he dominated him, separated himself from Pacquiao when they fought. He would have said, look, this is what I mean, that I'm much better, but he didn't do that. Even if you thought he won, what was the highlight of that fight that made you say, can you even say what he did to win the fight? Can you say, well, this is what he did? When I think about how he won the fight, yeah, he avoided confrontation. That's the best way I can describe how he won that fight. He avoided the confrontation, and he won on the judges' scorecards.
You know what?
But Let me just say this real quick.
Can I just say this? Can I just say this real quick? Let me just say this real quick. Keith Thurman actually made more contact on Pacquiao last night than Mayweather did. And I know people are going to say, well, it's boxing. It's hit, not get hit.
Right.
How many punches did Mayweather really land? I mean, come on. He did the bare minimum to get away with that win. And even then, some people
Yeah. Look, they say, look, you need a D to win this fight. He got a D.
Yeah.
He said, okay, cool. That's all I need. A D, bam, I got you. So he didn't separate himself from Pacquiao. That's why I got Pacquiao over him. You take what he did at flyweight, an excellent point by McGregor. What he was doing in flyweight, yes, he lost there. He was fucking 19 years old. And he went on to do better things. He moved up in weight. He moved up in weight. He was constantly, and he was beating great fighters. Not just like beating anybody. He beat Barrera. He beat Morales. He beat Marquez. He kept on. Then his welterweight run. Those are all great shit, man. Like,
well, he's got 21 more fights than him, also. So wow, that's like 30% of more of a career. Because he fought these all-time greats. How many all-time greats did he face? Well, he fought a handful, maybe more, but he fought him 1 or 2 times, even 3 times.
And you know what? Let me just
So
say
that
something
kind of
before.
like, yeah.
Let me just say something before we introduce Stu to that point. Also, when we're comparing Mayweather and not really taking the most chances, he could have gone up to middleweight to get that famous welterweight, middleweight title double whammy. He didn't do it. Miguel Cotto did, and I know there's an asterisk next to that the
Yeah, but
Martinez
he's
win.
small, man.
But no, whoa, Mayweather too small? I said
For
Mayweather.
middleweight?
Yeah,
Mayweather.
Against Martinez, he could have gone tried his oats, tested his oats against Martinez. He didn't do it. Miguel Cotto did. Is Miguel Cotto bigger?
Hold on, Bucho. When you say Mayweather's too small to go to middleweight, remember Pacquiao went to 154 and he's smaller than Mayweather.
Yeah, Bucho. I think
no, that's
Bucho,
true. That's true. But Mayweather's style wouldn't be able. That's the difference between Mayweather and Pacquiao. Pacquiao, even though he's small, because of his style, his speed, the power, the movement with the legs, he managed to move all those ways. But Mayweather, that type of style, he wouldn't work against bigger guys.
But Bucho, I'm not saying bigger guys. I'm saying Martinez. Just
He's a big guy. Did you see? Remember when Martinez was next to Cotto? The size difference,
right?
And I was like, "What the fuck?" But obviously, Cotto won because Martinez had no legs.
I know, but what I'm saying is, he could have tried. And by the way, remember, Mayweather's 5 feet and 8.5, 5 feet 9. He does walk around at 150 something. He could have had one fight at middleweight to really get. Hey, he wants to be called the all-time great, the TBE, the best ever. Move up to middleweight. That's what the best do. They take that chance. Sugar Ray Robinson did it. Sugar Ray Leonard did it.
I don't know,
come on,
man.
Welterweight, middleweight. That's the
and
combo.
Look, and you know something. In fairness to Mayweather, I thought I don't know what was the hesitation. I was like, man, I think he could beat Martinez. I'm not saying for sure. I know it would have been a tough fight. And he probably could have lost too. I'm not saying that he would have definitely won, but in my mind, I always thought he has a good chance to win that fight.
And he could have.
Yeah, his style is not. Is his style like a few years ago would have worked out for him then, because we know he just tries to beat you by scoring 1 or 2 more shots throughout one round. To coast his way into a victory.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have worked out well when he had the legs and the speed and catching Martinez at the right time.
Absolutely. And again, I'm saying it's a big leap. I understand it's a big leap, but that's the type of leap you take if you want to be the best ever. I'm not talking of your generation. I'm talking best ever.
Let's get Stu in here, because I think he's been waiting for a while now.
All right, Bucho, don't ever interrupt me, or I'll fucking. All right. No, seriously, I mean, yeah, you fucker.
You have been fined 1 credit for 1 violation of the verbal morality statute.
All right, I'll pay it. Anyway, we got Stu on the line.
I wasn't bad, though. I told you what's going to happen to the price. I told you he's going to be sleeping. I told you the ambulance is going to come. The oxygen mask is going to come out. I told you he's going to miss the main event. I told you all them things were going to happen.
All right, we got the introduction interrupted a little bit. Stu, are you there?
Yeah, what's happening, boys?
Hey, good to have you on board, Stu. Hope you're not too hungover from last night. I know you stayed up.
Fucking hanging out my ass, mate. Trust me. I don't feel very good, to be honest with you, so I'll try and fight out. I mean, I looked in the mirror earlier and I look like fucking Edward Scissorhands.
All right, Stu, we're talking about the Pacquiao Thurman. I mean, we're talking right now Pacquiao Mayweather, who has the better legacy, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the Pacquiao Thurman fight. Were you impressed? Were you surprised at anything?
No, I think it went how I expected it to go. Really, I expected it to be a good fight. I said that would happen. I said Thurman would come to fight because he'd have to, because he wouldn't be able to run. And I think that's what happened. I just didn't think Thurman just doesn't seem to have enough pop on his shots anymore. And we have to. I mean, I think I have to change that 7 for power that I said last night to a 6 right now, because for some reason a lot of them were like. He was sort of like throwing out rangefinders instead of planting his feet and fucking, lunging his body weight behind a shot and trying to get the KO. It was just basically arm punches, a lot of it, and rangefinders. And when he was planting his feet, it was like there wasn't 100% going into them shots. So it was a bit strange the way Thurman was throwing his shots. But yeah, the fight went how I expected. I expected Pacquiao to win on points. And
you said Pacquiao by unanimous decision.
Split decision. No, I said split decision because I thought that you know, Al could have had Thurman covered with one of the judges, if you get what I'm saying. So that's what I said.
Yeah. I mean, I expect when there were. But I don't know. I hear some feedback on your end.
Yeah, feedback.
Anyway, but yeah, I did expect, like most people, I thought when they were announcing the decision, they said split. I said, oh boy, they're gonna give it to Thurman for sure. Pleasantly surprised to see that the judges gave Pacquiao his credit. What else? So okay, so
but yeah, someone in the chat said about Thurman was throwing get off me punches. I've been how long have I been saying that on the show? That's what he does. A lot of his shots are get off me punches, and they're not going to knock you out, sort of thing. So yeah, it's just strange where the explosiveness of Thurman's punches just not there anymore. I mean, the accuracy and the technique sort of gone as well. I mean, like I said, when everyone says, "Oh, Thurman's going to be better now because he's had another camp," and like, I weren't convinced. What I saw against Teofimo Lopez was a man that was miles behind what he needed to beat Manny Pacquiao. And the only reason I said decision because I just don't think Manny has the pop anymore to spark people out cold anymore. So I thought it'd go the distance, but yeah.
Will Thurman ever be the same?
No. Some fighters just lose it, and that's it. They just can't get it back. I think the injuries probably haven't helped, and I don't think some of the big fights he's been in, and he's been getting hurt in them fights, and I think it's sort of like shook him up a little bit, and I think he's lost his confidence. Like that aura he used to have, where he was confident he could beat anyone. I know he talks a good game in the interviews and that, but when he gets in the ring, that confidence is not there. And I just think that's what it is. Some fighters just lose that aura and that confidence. That's what mentally boxing is like 75% mentally. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if your mind's not right, then you don't perform. And I think that's Thurman's probably maybe his mind's on going back to Nepal and getting and chilling with his wife and
But
I don't
think
know if this guy wants to box anymore. I'm not sure.
I think if he's got hurt, but has been able to recover in these fights and shown resiliency, it kind of does prove that he has the toughness, right?
Of course he's tough. I mean, yeah, he's a tough guy, isn't he? But it's just like it's hard to explain.
He's not quitting.
No, he's not quitting, but he's not winning either. If you get what I'm saying, I know he's not. This is a first defeat sort of thing, isn't it? So I'm not. But this was coming. He's got a few decisions go his way. He got beat up against Lopez at moments. This was coming, this defeat, and that's what I'm saying. I think if you put Thurman in with Spence next, he gets beat. If you put Thurman in with Porter again, he gets beat. If you put Thurman in against most top welterweights right now, he's going to struggle. Let's be real. He's just not the fighter he used to be. Shot to pieces, if you ask me. But Manny Pacquiao, like I said, Manny Pacquiao, even at 40 years old, nowhere near his best, was still too good for this guy. Do you know what I mean?
What do you think about Keith Thurman versus Ugas?
I think Keith Thurman beats him.
No, it's a good fight though. It'll be a close fight. I think. I think Ugas could probably pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not confident picking Thurman anymore. Do you know what I mean? And I said this before the Pacquiao fight, so it's not just because Pacquiao's bashed him up. I've said this beforehand. Just seeing the things he's doing now in a boxing ring shows me he's shot to pieces mentally and physically. He just don't look as strong as well. Looks very weak. Did you see how he could look very fleshy? I thought there's not a lot of muscle. They're just very fleshy. Very weak as well.
Too many carbs.
Yeah, that's what I saw anyway.
Yeah, it's a shame because Figueroa has a mentality to be a good, good fighter, but apparently he has to get pushed to train and he's a bit of a drunk. So, hey, listen, you don't put the work in, too bad, you get your ass kicked. Also, I wanted to give credit to Thurman because he didn't complain too much. I mean, when the decision was announced for Pacquiao, he threw his arms up in the air. But then I saw some of the post-fight interviews he made, and he was giving Pacquiao his credit. He said, hey, I lost. So I think deep down inside he knows. And that's why I was asking people too as well, does this psychologically destroy Thurman as well? Because, put yourself in his place. He's a confident guy. He's about 10 years younger than Pacquiao. He's got hand speed, natural talent. And all of a sudden, he tried his best and he couldn't pull it off against Pacquiao. Do you think that does something to him mentally?
A little bit, but at the same time, he's fighting an all-time great. So if he comes to terms to the fact of who Manny is, and he can just, he
Yeah,
can
but
come to terms with that, he'll be all right. And
listen,
Manny
man.
looks strong too. He looks
Yeah.
strong too, real fast. He looks strong, and he now becomes the oldest welterweight champion. And shout out to him for wearing raised gloves because I hadn't seen people wear those in a long time. The puncher's gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Thurman had no confidence even before the Pacquiao fight. All that talking was to hide his nerves and what he was really thinking. That's why he was just blabbering on nonsense, most of it, weren't it? He was rambling on about no one knows sort of thing. That's the sign of a fighter that's trying to hide something, nervous. And he's just not a confident man anymore, Keith Thurman. And we saw, like I said, he give it a go. Don't get me wrong, because he's a fighter and he's got a heart. All fighters have got hearts to get in there, haven't they? So he's going to give it a go, but he's just not there anymore for him.
And by the way,
That's
I think Thurman also, by being humble post-fight, he gained. I think he's gained the respect and maybe a couple of Filipino fans, because I was reading the comments on the YouTube videos on his interviews, and there were a lot of Filipinos that are going, "Oh, I'm a Keith Thurman fan now. He fought bravely. He put up a good fight. I'll watch him again." And I've always said about Keith Thurman, he doesn't even though he moves a lot. When he punches, he'll plant his feet and try to really get you out of there. So he's an interesting fighter to watch. He's a fun fighter to watch. Sean Porter, he can make for interesting fights, but he can also make for some horrible fights because of his clinching and his mauling. But Keith Thurman, for the most part, I think is a more entertaining fighter to watch. Also, you were talking about that, Stu, about... by the way, people are mentioning Figueroa and his brother. I forget what his brother's name is, but he's also an undefeated fighter. When they showed him up in the screen, I thought he was a lesbian. I didn't know that was Figueroa's brother. I thought he was like a lesbian or something. Or he's very feminine looking, this guy. Again, don't let it fool you. He's a good fighter, but I don't know. He needs to get some testosterone shots or something. I think he looks like the guy that called in a couple of episodes ago and accused us of being CNN shills. So maybe that's the guy. I don't know. Also, I wanted to mention Keith Thurman again. Giving him credit. By the way, I see people in the chat room talking about that potential Pacquiao-Garcia fight. That's a very winnable fight for Pacquiao. If he wants to take on the Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia winner, that's much, much easier than Sean Porter. I mean, Errol Spence. I'll tell you that much right now.
Or Sean Porter.
Yeah, or Sean Porter. True.
Did that ever get signed, the two Garcias fighting?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it should be... I don't know how the pound for pound rankings work, but I think, it would be a good idea, BDA, if Mikey came out since he couldn't do anything against Errol Spence. But then you have the 40-year-old guy who is now the unified within the same sanctioning body, regular and super champion.
Right.
Definitively beat, Thurman.
I don't know how the hell Mikey Garcia is going to beat Danny Garcia, but we'll see.
If Eric Morales was giving Danny Garcia a very tough fight the first time they fought, I can see Mikey Garcia beating Danny Garcia. I don't think it's that out of the question.
Yeah.
It's not insane, is what I'm saying.
I think Danny ends up chin checking him eventually in that fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, BDA, can we get into what's next for Pacquiao? Or Thurman as well?
Well, we did talk a little bit about that. The chances are they're probably going to get Pacquiao in there against the winner of Spence Porter, right?
Yeah. Now, some people are saying that he should retire. Pacquiao should retire because of, the outcome, which is going to be potentially Pacquiao getting knocked out. I don't know. I want to hear what Stu has to say, and who also? McGregor is also here.
McGregor left.
Oh, McGregor left. Sorry. Okay, I have it now.
How's he gonna? By the way, how's McGregor gonna go toe to toe against Recognize? He always has to go get a drink every 5 minutes because he's Irish. Well, I mean,
I might beat him when it comes to endurance. That's the thing that I have on my side. When it comes to endurance, for an old man, I can and don't make any accusations, but I got a lot of stamina.
Yeah, he's got. You know what? McGregor's got that Kimbo Slice stamina. He can go for 2 rounds, and after that, he's done.
Okay, I got another question then, Mr. BDA, and maybe you should answer this because we kind of discussed it yesterday night after the fight.
Yesterday night.
Is Pacquiao now the best welterweight?
Yeah, I heard Precise saying that. I know Recognize was there too, and Gonzalo and the official. And so that's a good question. Is he the best? Because that's, Errol Spence, obviously, he's got that Brook win, but that was 2017. Ever since then, he fought Peterson, he fought Mikey Garcia, he fought Ocampo. That's not all that great. I will say Sean Porter has a better in terms of all the guys he's fought basically every welterweight out there. So in terms of resume, but even then, Pacquiao, he beat Thurman. Before that, he fought Matisse, who some people say he was shot. I don't agree with that. I think it was a good win. Pacquiao is that good to make a guy like Matisse look like a bum, even though he's not a bum. You know what? I can tentatively say yes, Pacquiao is the best, but by virtue of the fact that I don't think he can keep up with Errol Spence, I will say no. I think head-to-head, if they fight, Errol Spence is just too consistent with his pace, with his power, with his body work. So I don't think Pacquiao, on paper, you could say, yeah, he's the best. But Errol Spence out there looming in, looking through the window like a burglar, I think Spence is. I don't know what everybody
Why you gotta say burglar?
Hey, listen, man. Bro. Hey, listen. You want me to play a clip that about what Errol Spence said a couple of episodes ago when they offered him a fight against or actually a top rank contract, some form of top rank contract. I'm trying to look for the quote here. Anyway, we'll get to it when I find it. Yeah,
if you're gonna take the Errol Spence fight, do it sooner rather than later because you're only getting older.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Why take the risk when you're fucking 42? I mean, Spence didn't perform all that well when he fought the Kill Brook. He couldn't take him out of there with like one shot. They were trading, and arguably, Kill Brook was winning like the first half of the fight until he quit on the 11th round due to the punishment. Mm-hmm. But that's that as far as that's concerned. And Spence, he was particularly wary about Mikey's power in the initial rounds.
That's a good point.
How's he gonna do against a Manny Pacquiao that's also a left-hander that likes to extend himself by stepping in and landing the shots?
He'd have to go to war against Pacquiao in the early rounds, but I don't know if Pacquiao can handle the pace. By the way, Corruption in Boxing is in the chat. He says, no BDA, Porter lost to Thurman and Thurman lost to Manny. A lot of people feel Porter should have won the Thurman fight. I mean, it was very close. It was very close. So
that was a close fight. I thought Porter won, but that was close.
Yeah, it was a very close fight. They're all up in that stratosphere. They're all very good. I will say, again, credit to Manny Pacquiao. Prime Manny Pacquiao, I think he beats all those guys. And Errol Spence, Errol Spence has to get through Porter first. Let's see if he can even beat Porter. Let's not discount Sean Porter. Come on, guys.
This is my opinion. I think that Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Antonio Margarito beats all these guys in their prime.
You know what? Somebody was saying De La Hoya versus Pacquiao. Even a prime De La Hoya loses. I don't agree with that.
I don't know about that.
I disagree completely.
I'm not going to say that so easily. Like, yeah, it's for sure. It'd have been a good fight, but don't be surprised if De La Hoya would have gave this boy a left check hook and took him out.
Exactly. De La Hoya, the 1999 De La Hoya, who took on Trinidad, Icorte, and Obakar on the same fucking year. The same goddamn motherfucking year.
The king is here.
Oh shit!
Remember when he looked like he smacked Obakar to sleep? It literally looked like he smacked him to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go look at that fight. I mean, he punched him, of course, but dude, it looked like a smack. Like, man, get out my face! Stop.
Yes. Yeah.
No, it did. I swear. It looked like
get the fuck out.
Come here, man. Didn't I tell you stop fucking with me?
Yeah, I remember seeing all those fights live too.
Oh, good years, man. Golden age of the. I mean, that's what I said about De La Hoya when that 1999 year. That's like as if Errol Spence took on Sean Porter, maybe Danny Garcia, and then Terence Crawford at the end of the year. That doesn't happen anymore. De La Hoya did that in fucking 1999. So, I mean, listen, this De La Hoya, this goddamn cocksucking motherfucker.
You have been fined 1 credit for 1 violation of the verbal morality statute.
All right, I agree with that. I screwed up. But,
does Pacquiao have obligations with the WBA now, or does he get past that because of who he is?
Good question. Well, he has the WBA Super Champ belt, so I guess he kind of can get away with it. No, because he was the WBA regular champion. Now he has become the WBA Super Champion. So maybe he.
So he's got to give up the regular title to somebody else.
Yeah.
Can he get the WBA franchise belt?
Hopefully. I mean, we're all hoping for that.
Yeah, if he gets that franchise belt, he becomes one of the greatest of all time. Above Sugar Ray Robinson, above Willie Pep, above Muhammad Ali. There's no question about it. Come on. But also, I wanted to ask you guys regarding where does Terence Crawford fit in all of this? Because I mean, the party right now at welterweight is going on over at the PBC side.
I'm gonna take a phrase from our boy Lopez. He's on the wrong side of the street.
That's right.
Yeah, he posted a tweet because I saw this video where they're congratulating Manny about all these famous people posting tweets, and in his message he said it's the hate is real. What they don't even recognize you as a champion or something along those lines.
Crawford said
Smiley
that.
faces. Yeah,
Crawford. Let me look that up. I want to put it up on the screen because I'm interested. I mean, hey, Terence Crawford, you're on the other. You know, it's. Get Bob. Listen, if they wanted to, they could make the fight. But it's Bob Arum on the one hand. He's very stubborn, very hard-headed guy. Even though they're doing business with the Zone for the Ramirez versus Hook fight, a Hooker fight, I should say. It's still not. Hold on, I'm looking. Keep going, guys. I'm looking for that tweet, the Terence Crawford tweet. Butcher,
yeah. I was gonna say earlier.
Yeah,
so, when you guys were talking about freaking Manny's power and his willingness when he fought Timothy Bradley. So Timothy Bradley didn't like really engage. You said a little bit in the second fight. He was willing to stand in there, but so when Timothy Bradley fought Provodnikov, and he showed to have a good chin throughout his whole career, Timothy Bradley. When he fought Provodnikov, he went toe to toe into a war with that guy, right? Even Lucas Matisse, right?
Yeah.
But he wouldn't do it against Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even he didn't even do it against Marcus, if you think about it.
By the way, I'm looking at the tweet that Gonzalo mentioned, and it's up there. I'm putting on the screen. He says, "You know the hate is real when they don't acknowledge the fact that you're a title holder," and then he puts those laughing emojis to try to show that he's not hurt by the fact that he's left out of the party. There's about 400 comments, and then he put up another tweet 4 hours ago, and he says, "I sit back and laugh when I read some of y'all comments, and y'all just be saying the same thing y'all hear on other people say, which not one of y'all know what y'all are talking about. Y'all. So it's a lot of y'all." And one of the this fucking guy he puts in the comment in Crawford's tweet. I don't know if it's a comment or what do you call those? Well, anyway, he comments in that he says he puts Terence Crawford's record up. He says one of the weakest records in boxing history. Off fucking course. He shows you John Molina Jr., Felix Diaz, Julius Indongo, Jeff Horn, Benavides Jr. Listen, those are good wins, but he's really, I mean, he's wasting his potential there. Crawford is. And Steve Schneider in the chat room says, y'all. Official Boxing Scorecard says, BDA Boxing, it was because the Fox didn't listen. He's saying that Crawford said that because Fox didn't list him as one of the current champions when they were listing the list. And Butcher, you mentioned that while we were watching the fight. So it's a good point. I mean, they shouldn't have left him out. That was a pussy move. But still, the fact is, Terence Crawford should be putting pressure on Bob Arum, if he isn't already, to try to get him one of those fights, man.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but Terence Crawford should go sign with the PBC. Honestly.
Well, why not? I mean,
these guys are making more money than him. Yeah.
He's wasting his career, and it's the opposite for Charlo up at middleweight. He's got nobody to dance with over at middleweight. So these guys should just put the differences aside and get these promotions to work together, man. Because I don't think the fighters are scared. It's the promoters. I've always said that it's these promoters. They're bunch. And you guys were talking about that last night, by the way, about how Bob Arum threw Pacquiao under the bus once he got rid of him, and now he was talking about how Thurman's gonna hurt him. I'm really worried about Pacquiao's health. Meanwhile, if he had Pacquiao right now, his roster, he would have been making a Jeff Horn trilogy. That's what we will be seeing now. We will be seeing Pacquiao versus Benavidez, Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn, Pacquiao versus Ruslan Provodnikov. I mean, come on. Pacquiao made the right move to go with the PBC, and we know we're not fans of the PBC here because sometimes they over marinate fights. But if you got the names, if the names are on the other side of the street, what the heck are you doing staying over with Top Rank? I mean, sure, Bob Crawford's getting paid, but his ego, he's got an ego. He wants competition. He doesn't want to be fighting Benavidez and John Molina Jr. They're good fighters, but come on, he wants to fight the best.
They should do an exchange, like as if they were like big sports teams. You know what I mean? Like you trade players.
Mm-hmm.
They should do that same thing with fighters.
Sure.
Like, I have this fighter that you need. You have that fighter that I need. Like let's fucking.
I was just thinking that too.
Yeah.
And by the sound of that tweet, he sounds like a little butthurt. It's like nobody. I don't think nobody really hates Terence Crawford because he's kind of a quiet guy. He's not a bad guy, so I don't think the hate is real, like his text is saying. I think he's more really like hurt, but nobody cares. So his prime years are gonna slip away while he sits there and waits.
Yeah. I mean, first, I don't know.
Nobody cares that he thinks that the hate is real. Not that nobody cares about his career. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if he puts himself in a position where he's more like in the limelight, people will pay more attention.
But that's the thing. Like Steve Kim's been saying for years, Crawford doesn't do interviews. He doesn't like doing interviews because at one point, a couple of journalists criticized him for being in the wrong place at the wrong time in the street sometimes, and he just decided, you know what, I'm not going to do interviews. So, sorry, if you don't do press, I know it can be tiresome for these guys, especially on fight week when they're trying to make weight and they're cranky, but that's what you got to do. You want to be a big name, you want to get paid, you don't just get paid because you're a good fighter. You got to be out there too. You got to be a personality. You got to be a character. Not too goofy like, Teofimo Lopez and his father, but do try to be out there and get your name out. It's called promotion. It's a business. It's show business. And if you don't show the people anything, sorry, they're not gonna want to see you fight.
Yeah, even if you don't have the best personality, like maybe Danny Garcia, you can always wear those colorful Puerto Rican shirts, to bring attention to yourself.
By the way, Gonzalo, was it me or did Figueroa's father, every time they showed him up on screen, did he look like one of those cartel guys that puts out hits on you?
I'm not too sure who his father is. Was it the fat guy? No, that was a younger guy.
No, it was a guy with
I've seen him before. Yeah, he does look like a... Yeah, he does look like a Sicario.
He had that purple. He had that purple shirt, buttoned-up shirt with the patterns, and he did, and the mustache. He looked like a cartel guy. Also speaking about Terence Crawford, and by the way, just wanted to mention this. I like watching Terence Crawford fight. When he fights guys that are outmatched, he will go for the kill. He's got a mean streak in him. He was trying to walk Khan down for a couple of rounds there before Khan decided to call it quits. So he's got a whole bunch of stoppages. So he can crack, man. He doesn't just want to outbox guys. The exception was the Beltran and Postal fights, which I think was smart on his part to fight that way, even though he was boring. And I think he would make for a fantastic fight against Errol Spence and against Keith Thurman and even against Sean Porter. By the way, some of you guys were talking about that, I think, about who looked better against Pacquiao, Jeff Horn or Keith Thurman?
Jeff Horn.
All right.
No, Jeff Horn was dirty and everything, so I mean, I don't know.
Endgame says Keith Thurman. Let's see.
Manny Pacquiao had a bad night. Maybe he underestimated Jeff Horn and him breaking up with Bob Arum and all that, and as also with Freddie Roach.
I think he had a bad ref too.
Yeah, I think Freddie Roach came after that fight, not before. Yeah, that was after it didn't turn out well.
Yeah, but Jeff Horn did. I mean, he was landing body shots sometimes when Pacquiao was on the ropes. He was coming forward. I know he was dirty, but I mean, he was there to fight. By any means necessary. A bit like Maidana.
Right.
And Keith Thurman, although he didn't fight on the back foot like most of us believed he was gonna do, but he was in front of Pacquiao there, but he didn't do much, to be honest.
By the way, people in the chat room saying unanimously Keith Thurman. Endgame says Jeff Horn was dirty, never fight in Brisbane ever again. Fight Scout says Jeff Horn was all headbutts and elbows. John Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's true.
Shout out to John, and he says Thurman. Mr. Cox says Thurman. Nicola Ferrari, shout out to Nicola, says Thurman. Horn was Ward 2.0. Walter Morrison, shout out to Walter, aka Jackson, says Pacquiao didn't train for Jeff Horn. Chemical
Could be.
Says Box. Okay, no, he's not answering the question. So, you know what?
No, but it's true. Maybe he didn't train. I mean, who the hell was Jeff Horn? Everybody was like, "What is this garbage fight?" You know, what
trust
I mean?
me, he trained for the fight. He trained because
Yeah?
Jeff Horn was putting it on him, trying to put it on him, and Pacquiao went up.
No, I'm saying Pacquiao didn't train for the fight.
That's what I'm saying. Pacquiao did train for the fight. Like, come on, you can't do what he did in that fight. It was such a dirty fight. You got to be in shape to take all those elbows and those headbutts and all that clinching. Yeah, no, so that's what I think he was in shape for that. Again, Pacquiao, you got to give him credit. Let's talk a little bit then, as this is slowing down, this discussion regarding Pacquiao Thurman. I just wanted to bring up something. I was watching an interview with Broner that they did with Broner post Keith Thurman Pacquiao. He claims, first of all, he says, now you all going to give me my credit. Now you're going to give me my credit. So he's saying that the people should give him his credit about how he looked against Pacquiao versus how Thurman ended up getting beat up a little bit against Pacquiao. But he doesn't seem to get the difference. That's he fought in survival mode, i.e. Broner, whereas Thurman tried to win. He tried to hurt Pacquiao. Even in the last round when his trainer Dan Birmingham told him, give it everything you've got in this last round. And he went in there and tried to do it. So Broner never really tried that. He was in defensive mode, just like he was against Sean Porter.
Maybe Broner can brag about that he didn't go down, but who cares, man?
And he got stunned two
like
times.
You said, he got stunned, and he was in survival mode. He was throwing single shots. It was pretty embarrassing.
And he was yapping while he was throwing the shots. Ha, 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 ha. And by the way, also the other thing is he claims that he was gambling with Keith Thurman at 3 a.m. 3 in the morning on Friday before the fight.
Well, that explains it all.
No, but I mean, come on. You really think Keith Thurman's going to be up gambling at 3 in the morning? That's what Broner said. Now, why would Broner lie? That's what I'm trying to get at here. Trying to figure out, rather.
I don't know. I don't really care what Broner has to say, man, to be honest.
Well, John Gonzalez is the only time.
I think people just follow him around to take pictures. I don't think they actually really like him. Like, who could really actually... I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. I think they just do it because they think they see somebody famous, and I don't know. It's just the guy's cringy.
Yeah.
If I saw him I wouldn't want to take a picture with him. Fuck him.
Yeah, that's
seriously.
Hey, listen. If Gonzalo doesn't want to take a picture with you, and he takes pictures with everybody, all the cartel members, Manny Pacquiao, Boo Boy. By the way, I'm looking at real quick at the chat room. Corruption in Boxing says, King Bucho, no one is trading anything. This ain't no goddamn city council meeting. Yeah, this is true. I mean, they're not going to be trading fighters. Come on. John Gonzalez says,
but they should, man.
John Gonzalez says, the only time I want to hear about Broner is when he finally commits suicide. Oh, that's the John Gonzalez going for the jugular. By the way, we got Pete on the line. Pete, are you there?
Fellas, what's happening?
Hey, good to have you on board, man. First of all, we never got your gosh darn prediction, man. What was that all about?
No, he said 10th round stoppage.
Yeah, 10th round stoppage for Thurman. That's what I predicted.
I don't see it on the sheet, so either you never said that or Bucho forgot to write it down.
No, he said it yesterday, I believe.
Shut up. Yeah. Stop defending him.
That's why I kind of got excited too, Pete, because I made I changed my prediction last minute because Mr. BDA said we could. So I interrupted him before he got off the show, and I say, I want to change my prediction. And I called it a 10-round stoppage for Pacquiao. So when he got hurt, I was like, holy shit, I'm actually going to get this like spot on.
What round?
By United 10. Remember, I called it a 10-round stoppage.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
so
we all got it wrong. We all got it wrong.
Well, no, not everybody. What are you talking about?
The Rascal didn't get it right.
Wrong. I can tell you. Okay, let's go through the list. Quags said Pacquiao 11-round TKO, which almost happened in the 10th. All right. Rascal had it right. Stu had it almost. No, he did say decision. He got it right. Johnny said Pacquiao by unanimous decision. And then I think somebody else wrote Pac slaps Thurman like a great.
That was Johnny Boy.
That's Johnny Boy. Okay, yeah.
Johnny Boy's bragging that he was right. Was he right?
It says Pacquiao unanimous decision, so he was partly right. He got the decision part right. But
he kind of slapped Thurman around. Look at Thurman's face.
Johnny Boy's a drunk, so I don't know what he's talking about. Benji The Filipino caller said Pacquiao by 8th round TKO. Gonzalez changed it to Pacquiao stoppage. Apology say Pacquiao unanimous decision. Recognize said decision. Precise said Pacquiao by decision. Bucho said Thurman by 10th round stoppage. John from Ghana, the Nigerian scam artist, said Thurman by 8th round TKO, I think. Pete, I guess, what was your prediction you said?
That Thurman would stop Pacquiao in the 10th round.
Okay. I said Thurman unanimous decision. Official said Pacquiao 9th round KO. Revolution said draw. Corruption said Thurman 9th round stoppage, I believe. I can't read the handwriting. McGregor said draw. Gypsy said Pacman unanimous decision. Jackson said Pacquiao 10th round TKO. And then I see Pacquiao unanimous decision, but I don't see a name next to it. So that was what we got, fellas. Those were the predictions. I think almost good educated predictions. Not everybody got it right. But what do you want? You know? By the way, you guys want to talk a little bit about the undercard, or you want to talk about Teofimo Lopez, or you tell me.
Well, Figueroa, I was disappointed with Figueroa, but then again, he looked much smaller than Ugas. I mean, come on, he looks significantly smaller.
That's his fault, man.
Yeah, I'm blaming it on that difference. Yeah.
Ugas, I didn't like the holding, man. I thought Ugas could have. He was doing a good job of going to the body against flabby ass drunk Figueroa, but he didn't. And it seems like he was more concerned about not catching something big from Figueroa.
They took a point off you guys for holding, didn't they?
Yeah, it's surprising. I mean, I thought it was. I don't know. It looked to me like it was Figueroa that was doing the clinching. What did you think?
I mean, the fight. I mean, what? I mean, you guys was definitely just whipping Figueroa's ass the whole fight. I mean, I don't know if it was a lack of power or like he just didn't want to get in there and finish him. But I thought he could. I mean, I was waiting for a finish. You know, like in other words, it seemed like he dominated the whole entire fight. I don't think Figueroa had much for him. You know,
Figueroa is very limited, to be honest. I mean, this is that type of style where he that phone booth style works against smaller guys, but he wasn't gonna outwork, or even hurt a guy like Ugas. He was just much bigger. And by the way, Ugas is also a very good boxer, so I'm excited about what's gonna happen with Ugas next.
So do I, man. I mean, he could make. I mean, this welterweight division is red hot, man. You know what they should do? You talked about trading fighters between promotions. Send Ugas over to the top rank and let him fight Crawford. And if Crawford can beat him impressively, make a fight between Thurman and Spence. I mean, Crawford and Spence or something like that. You know, I don't know. Ugas is a good test for anybody, I think. And all right, so that was that fight. Who cares about that fight? Caleb Plant impressed. That was another good performance. Anybody got anything to say about that one? Caleb Plant?
Well, of course he's gonna look like $1 million, you know, against a tomato can.
Tomato can? Whoa.
Yeah, this guy's a college guy. I mean, nothing against people who go to school, but like you look him up on the internet and you can't find really no significant clips about his fights.
No, you're right. That's true. I did try to look for some of his fights, and I don't remember finding anything. You also had Lipinets fighting, which was disappointing that John Molina decided to drop out of the fight. He hurt his back trying to blow himself. So, I mean, that's not the official. That's not the official excuse, but that's where I'm going with. Fuck him for pulling out. But I think Lipinets would have beaten him regardless. What do you guys think?
Molina?
Yeah, I think Lipinets would have beaten Molina.
Most likely, but if he would have caught him with that one-hitter quitter that he has shown to throw, like, you know, this guy went down against Mikey with the good shot. So, I mean, the guy's, he's been down before. So, like, that punch that Molina times you and just kind of, like, seems to hit you with, you know, maybe 1 or 2 times throughout the course of a fight. You never know. So, I don't know.
Listen. If nobody wants to talk about the undercard, we can move on to something else. You guys tell me, man. We got Teofimo Lopez. We had White versus Rivas last night, which was a good heavyweight scrap.
What I don't understand about Molina is how is he sitting there at the final presser and he's got an injury? I mean, unless he got it the night What, did he get injured after the weigh-in or something, or the night before the weigh-in?
I think he was having issues making weight. That's my issue. That's how I saw it. He looked much bigger in that face-off against Lipinets.
Yeah, the final press conference where he faced off was the night before the weigh-in, right? The day before the weigh-in?
Wednesday.
Okay, so 2 days. So it's like, dude, why are you at the final presser if you got some injury? Maybe it was making weight, but Neary missed weight too. Did y'all catch Neary missing weight and they left the microphones open during the? Go ahead.
No, I'm asking what happened. He didn't make weight finally, or because I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah, he missed weight by a pound. He missed weight by
half a pound.
Okay, but then he had 1 hour to lose that pound or whatever.
Basically,
did he make it?
No. Basically, he missed weight, and I thought it was by 1 pound. Jimmy Lennon announced that he had 2 hours to lose the weight, and Bob Bennett corrected him and said 1 hour. And then they left the microphones open, and you heard Neary's trainer in the background, kind of not arguing with Bob Bennett, but basically stating that they're not even going to try to lose it.
Oh,
if it was a quarter pound or a half pound, maybe, but a whole pound, no way. He looked like death up there, or as it was.
This, I was gonna say.
So did he lose it or not?
No.
This MFer.
I think
This MFer, man, he won't make weight. He's already screwed up a bunch of times over there in Japan. He's banned from going to Japan. When Japan bans you, these guys watch tentacle porn. They buy panties in vending machines that are being urinated by virgin urine. When you get banned from that country, that means you're a screw-up, and Nery is a screw-up. People only want to see him fight because he's a big puncher and he could give the Inoue Donaire winner a good fight or whatever. They want to see fireworks. But come on, how many chances are we going to give this guy?
Yeah, I think if it's less than half a pound, it's up to the discretion of the opponents to see if they want to take the fight. If it's more, it's like you can't really do it by not law by the sanctioning body or the commission, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like I forgot what I was gonna say, but at least he didn't have to shave his beard or anything.
He looked like an ISIS member up there. The Quack says, "What the F BDA?" Shepherd Son says, "I hope Nery beats up more Asians." Oh, what do you got against Asians?
Hey,
go ahead, Pete.
I was just laughing at that. Beats up more Asians. How dare you?
Yeah, what's up with that comment, man? Endgame says, "I don't like Luis Nery. He gets too many chances and passes." I do agree. I wonder who he's got as a promoter or manager or whatever, because I mean he's getting a lot of opportunities for screwing people over in weights. Caleb beat Muscategui. You guys are haters.
Most likely Fernando Beltran, because he's from Tijuana.
Bay Area, she says, you guys are haters, always hating on the Mexican. Yeah, that's why we're Juan Manuel Marquez fans. That's why we're Francisco Estrada fans. That's why we respect Canelo's skills, because we hate every Mexican, even though I'm a Mexican, and Gonzalo's a Mexican, and Bucho's a Mexican, and Pete probably has some Mexican in there too. Come on, get out of here.
Luis Neri looks like he's kind of like half black. You know, in Mexico they have in Acapulco and like Veracruz, they have like some Mexican. They have like blood and black in there.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
By the way,
he looks like. Yeah.
Let's real quick to the Teofimo Lopez fight. I don't know if you guys saw the fight, but this guy he won the fight. I haven't even finished watching the fight. I haven't had the chance to, but he certainly seemed to underestimate Nakatani a little bit. Nakatani, okay, yeah, long fighter, tall. I understand it's hard to fight a guy who's taller than you, but Teofimo Lopez was supposed to be this new pound-for-pound sensation. ESPN is hyping him up so bad, man, along with Top Rank. He's supposed to be the guy that's going to finally challenge Lomachenko. And he didn't look so hot in there. He started out the fight. You know how Mayweather, Roy Jones, all these athletic guys, when they start the fight in the first round, they start up with the hands up. And they gauge the distance, the rhythm, the hand speed, and then once they get comfortable, they drop that left hand. This guy, Lopez, starts out right away, left hand down. And I'm thinking, this is the result of Floyd Mayweather post-era, the post-Mayweather era, where all these guys are trying to emulate him, and they don't seem to understand that you have to keep those hands up in the beginning of the fight. And he was eating jabs, he was getting countered with left hooks coming in, countered with right hands after he lunged in with the left hook. I'm going to put up a photograph of Teofimo Lopez there because he's got hair now. And I was in a Chinese restaurant the other day, and I saw a guy mopping up the floor in the kitchen in the back door. And I said, is that Teofimo Lopez? He looked exactly like Teofimo Lopez. So I think he should shave that hair because he looks like the dishwasher at my local Chinese joint. Guys, did you watch, any of you watch that Teofimo Lopez fight? Or?
Yeah. Also, like Lennox Lewis is trying to teach some guys, like, hold your hands up in front of you because that way you can deliver your jab like faster and quicker, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you got your hands down, by the time you raise your hands, your opponent's already like keying into like you giving them signs that you're gonna throw your hands or something. You're telegraphing your punches because he does pull. You can see his right hand coming from a mile away.
Well, look, I like Teofimo Lopez. He definitely has skills, good reflexes, flashy defense. Even he said he wasn't happy with his performance, which the important thing is he got the win. So now let's see what he does from here. Can he put everything together? Can he keep looking sensational against better opponents? Because apparently now he has to face Comey, unless I'm mistaken. I think that's what I heard. They were talking about that on the internet. I'm not sure. But if he wants to get past a puncher like Comey, he definitely has to tighten up that defense, man. Because he's not going to get out of there alive if he keeps playing around. And his father, the thing about Teofimo Lopez and his father is Danny Garcia, Angel Garcia. Same thing, except Angel is the one that does all the talking. Garcia just shuts his mouth. In this scenario, this is like a parallel universe dynamic. It's the father, Teofimo Lopez's father, I don't know what his first name is, and Teofimo Lopez. They both talk a big game. So it's almost like what you would see if Danny Garcia was as arrogant as his father. And this fight, there's talk. So many people are even saying that the Japanese guy, Nakatani, should have gotten the win. But I haven't seen the whole fight, so I can't comment on that.
Yeah, it was that close.
It was that close, really?
Well, the Nakatani out-jabbed him. And in the power punch department, Lopez landed more.
Jeez. All right, so I'll have to rewatch that fight and get your guys' thoughts on this. Pete, did you watch the fight?
No, I didn't. It was a long week for me, and Friday night I was all fucked up and passed out. Woke up too late. I'm actually watching it now, but
okay.
I heard Johnny Boy talking about it the Saturday, saying basically that he lost that fight 7-4 or 7-5. I mean, and I opened my eyes because Johnny Boy was the one that kind of turned me on to Teofimo Lopez in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the fight now. This Japanese guy's tall, man.
Yeah, man, tall, rangy.
A lot taller than Teofimo.
That's the thing with Japanese.
For somebody who watched the actual fight, did Teofimo Lopez ever go to this guy's body, or is he headhunting the whole time?
Did he go to his body? Not that much.
I don't understand. I've never seen a Japanese guy. I've never seen any of these Japanese fighters go out with a headshot. It's always got to be a body shot, man. These fucking guys, they got chins. They just keep coming.
You have been fined 1 credit for 1 violation of the verbal morality statute.
Yeah, Pete, you gotta watch that language. We're not allowed to swear anymore.
I didn't watch a very good version of it because I watched it through Facebook Live. But if you haven't seen the end, BDA, he kind of does pick up his pace to where he wins like the last 2 rounds.
Okay, well,
so if he wouldn't have won those last 2 rounds, it would have been like a clear robbery.
Yeah, but
Even though I do believe that he's kind of like he did win. Nakatani actually kind of did pull it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's supposed to. He was the favorite. He was supposed to win a little bit easier than he struggled again, seemingly struggled in that fight. Let's see what happens with him. He definitely has to step it up. Otherwise, he's just going to be. Somebody called him in the chat room or in the Discord. I forget who he was. Somebody called him Broner 3.0. So let's hope.
I agree with that, man. He just the fights I've seen so far. He reminds me a lot of Broner back when Broner was maybe at 130. If you can just walk forward on your opponents, I mean, you want to call it weight bullying, you want to call it the matchups. When you can just see that, when you can keep your feet, a foot wider than your shoulders and just walk forward and barely imitate a shoulder roll and have no chance of getting hit back. and just pick your shots, you're eventually going to knock somebody out. It's like I see that with Teofimo a little bit.
And you see, the thing with him is, he was able to knock out, was it Tatley and the other guy? I forget his name, but he starts like out of his like 12 victories, he's got like 10 KOs, right? But then he couldn't hurt this guy. Okay, is he gonna have these advantages in the power punch department when he goes up to 140? Because he's a big guy already. He's just gonna become more ordinary because he does have the athleticism, but he doesn't have the actual boxing skill to put together with this God-gifted talent. I mean, God-gifted
God-given
speed,
talent.
Because he does have power, right? He does,
Yeah.
but how much more of that clear advantage will he have with bigger weights?
That's a good point. That's a good question because Broner, we saw he moved up from lightweight and did, he can compete with the top welterweights, but he wasn't the puncher that we thought he was when he was campaigning at lightweight. Now I'm looking at BoxRec here. They have Lopez listed as 5'8", so take away half an inch because they usually exaggerate here at BoxRec. So I think he's more like 5'7", 5'7 and a half, which supposedly Keith Thurman is 5'7" too. So maybe Teofimo Lopez could compete at, but he already looks pretty filled up at lightweight, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I don't know if he can.
He said he wouldn't fight past this year, but I guess whatever's happening, he can get that. If he does get a title, which who's to know that he can beat the power puncher? Because I mean, Comey have 29 fights with 26 knockouts, only lost 2 by split decision. He's a good fighter with skill and power. But is he willing to hang around and take that fight just to get a title? So like later you can move up and say, oh, well, I captured titles in 2-3 weight divisions by the time he ends his career. Because that's the plan, right?
Yeah, definitely. They're trying to. They're gonna try to make him one of those multiple division, and probably he seems like the type of guy that doesn't really want to stay at lightweight trying to make that weight. He'll probably just want to take it easy and fight at 140, 147 where he can take it easy with the weight cutting. Magic Man says Richard Comey could stop Teofimo Lopez, especially if Lopez weight cut keeps taking its toll since he is a welterweight. Bay Area Boxing says Boxing Style's favorite family is the Kardashians. Oh. Mr. Coxey says, Shepherd of Sons, and you were right. Box says, Comey has replaced Doc Bowe as Ghana's #1. Surely there's only one Broner, says Eddie. John Gonzalez says, rest in peace, Doc Bowe. The Quack says, Comey is going to beat Lopez up. Red Glove Militant is in the chat room. Shout out to Red Glove Militant. People are saying that he can't box. Lopez can't box with Comey. Mr. Coxey says Lopez has to move up soon, and no, if he does, he won't be as bad as he is now. I think bad, he says bad as in good, as in, man, this guy's bad. Like they say in
But
the
you
streets.
see, it's not that he, because you have killers in 140. You have Prograis, you have Ramirez, Hooker, you got even this prospect kid. I mean, Virgil Ortiz Jr., he ventured to 147, but he came back down to 140, and he's a power puncher.
Yeah, 140 pounds is his stacked division. It's just we don't talk about it as often as welterweight and light heavyweight. But for a couple of years I've been saying that keep your eye on 140 because once these guys start getting some good wins, it's going to start arranging itself. And now it's finally coming to fruition with the Super 6. I mean, not the Super 6, but with the World Boxing Super Series tournament. You got Ramirez and Hooker who are going to be fighting on the zone, doing a little cross promotion there between Top Rank and the zone. So. And then, like you said, Virgil Ortiz, I mean, man, this division, red hot.
Yeah.
Red hot. And if Frankie Gomez ever makes a comeback, Frankie Gomez is a natural talent, one of the best fighters with potential that I've seen in the last couple of years. And he was, again, like Figueroa, another drunk. Didn't really want to box, wasting his talent.
Isn't he does he hang around with gang members?
I think so, yeah. I think he hangs around with the people that wanted to beat you up.
By the way, remember I mentioned to you if you wanted to get that ref on the show, his name is, I forget what his name is. Anyhow, can't think of his name right now. I have it written down right there.
Yeah.
He's a Mexican guy. He did the Dimitrenko
Ruiz?
Andy Ruiz fight. Yeah. And this guy used to be a gamer. He's got 506 titled bouts that he's refed, and he also used to be a judge. Ray Corona.
Didn't you say Didn't you say he used to be a gang member too?
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah,
I'm not
Ray
being.
Corona.
I'm not being facetious.
So he gave me his number. Says if to call him, so I can talk to him and ask him basically what I want. I seen him in some other podcast speaking. So like I guess he would be willing to come on. So
Hey Gonzalo, by the way, did you have people over while you were watching the Pacquiao fight? Because I was really listening to the show that I wasn't on last night, but I there was a lot of commotion in the background where you were at. Was that did you invite people over?
Yeah, that was my wife and then my brother-in-law. He was here.
No kidding. Yeah, there was a. I can't imagine what it must be like when Pacquiao fights in the Philippines. Everything must just turn into a big party. By the way,
I just kept running outside to the corner street and like I had my boxing chain on and like I was drunk and had to go get some more beers and like some of these guys don't even know like that he's fighting.
Oh shit!
All right, there you can hear Pete is abusing his dog, reprimanding him for making noise. All right, Pete, you don't have to beat your dog up just because he interrupted the podcast. Come on, man, don't do that. All right, we're gonna have PETA on our behinds on this one. Now, before we continue, we do have to go soon because I gotta go to church. But we got Gypsy Boxing Style on the line.
I'm gonna blow this internet up right about now. Bro, what's up? What's up with all that shit talking, bro? I'm being real. I'm being real. Because I picked honest.
All right. Gypsy Boxing Style, you there?
Yeah, this is Apology. What's up, guys?
I'm very disappointed with all of you. I'm at the gym.
I am very disappointed with all of you.
Hey, listen, Boxing Style.
Especially for Shepard.
You got the prediction. I'm looking at your prediction here. Hold on. Apology, Boxing. Where's Boxing Style? Gypsy Boxing Style. Pac-Man decision. Now, you got it almost right. You said unanimous decision, but it was still... Do you agree with the decision? With how it went last night?
No, I do not agree with the decision. I think the decision was bogus. I think Pacquiao won 8-4. And with the KD, you could give it up another round over there, too. That's a bullshit decision, but that's why I didn't like to go with the split decision. I wanted to go with unanimous instead because I didn't.
You have been fined 1 credit for 1 violation of the verbal morality statute.
You can't swear, man. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
But it's not up to me, man.
Honey, I'll pay her a visit later on.
If you're a naughty boy, you will have to be corrected.
All right, now that's not gonna be necessary, mistress. All right. So you agree with the decision then, Jim? I mean, you disagree. You think it was wider than what the judges said?
Yeah, I think it was 8-4. 8-4 is what including the knockdown in the first round, that bumps it up to whatever, another extra point on top of that. So, yeah, definitely Pacquiao beat him, but Thurman did show good heart, just like I said he was going to do. He was just going to be outworked, and he got outworked. No matter what Thurman came up, like the best Thurman, bring the best Thurman, he would have been destroyed by Pacquiao that night. He would have been destroyed. Just the way he got beat that today, it would have been maybe he would have won an extra. Maybe it would have been a little bit closer. Maybe it would have been a 7-5, But Pacquiao would have still really put the hurts on him. But Thurman did hurt Pacquiao too, like twice in the fight. I'll give it 3 to 4 times, something like that. But Pacquiao recovered pretty good. He's got good recovery. I think it's gonna be a good fight if he fights Spence. It'd be an interesting fight. I'd like to see that.
I don't know, man. We were talking about that, and Spence might just have too much right now for Pacquiao. Pacquiao was struggling. This fight took some time off of Pacquiao. I do think he already at 4 years old. That type of fight, he did have to exert himself. There was a lot of moving, a lot of shots being taken on the body.
Remember when Mikey, when he fought Mikey, Spence tried to take on Mikey out in the later rounds. Even his coach Jamal James was pressuring him. You gotta knock this guy out, and he threw a fit, saying, "I'm trying," but he couldn't. That has to do most likely with the fact that he's a big guy and he's getting because of the weight, in the later rounds, he's getting fatigued. So if in other words, if Spence can't take him out early, and plus if Pacquiao uses his power to impose kind of like some conditions. I'm saying to where like later in the fight, maybe Pacquiao does have a chance. But he's also old. Also, Pacquiao's old.
By the
I
way,
mean,
Look,
yeah, it
Gonzalo,
doesn't make
Mikey
sense.
Garcia's situation, the people hating on Mike Garcia, but with Mikey Garcia's situation, Mikey Garcia was strong enough to beat him. He just wasn't fast enough to beat Errol Spence. That's the only difference between Mikey and Errol Spence fight. But Pacquiao, he's strong and fast. So he has a good shot and he has a good chin. I thought his chin would have been faded by now at the age of 40, but the steroids, no drug test going on this fight. So yeah, that helped out a lot because he recovered super quick, man. It takes him a while to recover, but he recovers quick, but not as quick as that. That was pretty quick for getting hit with the right hand by Thurman. He came back good. You know what I mean? So I favor. I think it's a close fight. I can't say I favor anyone between Spence and Thurman. I would have to favor Spence a little bit because of the age.
But that's what I'm saying. He might fade too because of the lack of the weight, because of the weight cutting. And Pacquiao's gonna fade because he's old. So fuck.
Yeah, but still, that'll be a hell of a fight, man. I will watch that.
You have been fined 1 credit for 1 violation of the verbal morality statute.
All right, I'm getting sick of this.
Wait a minute. I can't use the word hell?
No, that was Gonzalo. That was Gonzalo's ended up.
right.
Listen, I'm sorry, guys. I can't. This is Goldstein said. He's the one in control now. I wanted to say that Gonzalo, you mentioned Jamal James, Derrick James. People are correcting you.
Yes, Derrick James. Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Don't use those stereotypical. Come on. We don't use stereotypes. We don't do stereotypes.
Well, Jamal James is a fighter.
Yeah, Jamal James is a fighter. There you go.
He just fought, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he might have been trained by Derrick James in the past.
No kidding.
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh, what an interesting coincidence. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about just a note on Oscar Rivas versus White. All right, people kept saying that in the heavyweight division. People keep saying, "Oh, White, he's the best heavyweight in the world," or you can make the argument that he's the best heavyweight in the world. He takes out Deontay Wilder. He ended up eating an uppercut and getting dropped, and almost got taken out of there. So I've said it before, man. I'm giving Deontay Wilder. I'm picking him over White if that fight ever takes place. I don't see White making it out of there against Deontay Wilder.
He's got a vicious left hook.
Mm-hmm.
He's also got a questionable chin.
That's right. Yeah.
You talk about Wilder?
No, I forget.
No, I'm talking
Dillian
about
Whyte.
Dillian Whyte. The guy who's been down 3 times in his career.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing, though. If he would have taken on Anthony Joshua, let's say White would have stepped in there with Joshua instead of Ruiz, would he have stopped Joshua?
I don't know. Probably not.
Is it a styles make fights? Does Ruiz have faster hands than White?
He's got faster hands. He's got good boxing ability. White's kind of crude, but he definitely has a good left hook.
Mm-hmm.
And he's strong, but he's strong because he's big, but he kind of falls apart due to fatigue in the later rounds, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think Andy has a better chin than Dillian.
You talking about Andy versus White?
I'm talking about Deontay Wilder versus. Well, I started mentioning Deontay Wilder versus White.
Oh, I see. Wilder knocks him out, man. Wilder and Andy knock White out.
Well, he's scared. He's scared of Dillian Whyte for some reason. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, he is. It's an intimidation. It's like a brotherly thing. Sometimes even John Jones was afraid of Quentin Rampage Jackson back in the day in MMA, but he still beat the shit out of his ass. Excuse me. He beat him up.
You have been fined 1 credit for 1 violation of the verbal morality statute.
Listen, I'm okay. Yeah, thank you. I'm not in control of this, so if you guys keep swearing, it's gonna slow the show down. All right, come on.
The guy's been a mandatory for 600 days.
600 days, jeez.
Yeah, and so Wilder keeps saying, "Well, keep on fighting
Gonzalo.
people."
That's wrong, Gonzalo. It's more. It's about 650 now. I think he's.
Well, yeah, but you guys know what I mean. If that weren't long enough.
Did you do 600 days in jail, or you did less? I forget.
I did almost a year in the Mexican jail.
Jeez, how did you survive that, man?
I had to buy I had to buy a bed and had my mom bring me money like every week so I can have somebody to wash my clothes and kind of pay for protection. Although I didn't need it, they were cool with me because I guess I kind of shared my things with a few guys. And
But still, 600
That
days.
sounds like a hotel, not a prison.
Oh, yeah, come
yeah,
on, man.
it's
You
like
think that's
it's just like a 6x9, but no, maybe a little bigger. But then they put like they fill it up like to where you're like sardines in there.
Well, the reason why I brought that up is because Dylan White, in a sense, has been in jail. He's been in boxing jail. He wants to get those big names, the Joshua, the Wilder, and actually those are the two big names. What am I talking about? Those are the money makers. Joshua obviously was the price, but is he gonna get? Because he looked. I mean, he was going to war against Rivas in there, toe to toe, and I think it's only a matter of time before somebody takes him out, and then that payday, big payday he wants is gonna go. So. I don't know Eddie Hearn's his promoter, right?
Yeah.
Is he deliberately keeping him away, or what's going on?
He's a weird one because he's picking fights with the WBC and it's been like quoted as criticizing Anthony Joshua that he's on PEDs. So he kind of goes against the grain with everybody.
Hey, BDA, there's a phone call.
How much time we have on the phone call left? Or on the
Gonzalez.
But I guess I didn't answer your question though.
No, you didn't. All right, hold on a second.
Yeah.
We gotta take this phone call. 929, you're on the air. 929.
Hey, what's up, guys? I've been on hold for quite a while, but I've been listening to you guys for a long time. Good banter.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch on the fight last night between Manny and Keith. I thought it was a great fight. Very entertaining. I mean, I was super impressed by the performances of both these guys. Mostly Pacquiao. I mean, at age 40, wow. I mean, how can you not be amazed by that? I mean, still bringing it to these young ones. On the welterweight division. Floyd has never done that. Never given chance to any contemporary fighters today. Would rather fight. MMA fighters. It's unbelievable.
90 seconds.
The way this fight was so electric. I mean, Manny was fighting at a pace that Keith couldn't handle, but he showed up and fight. He showed up, especially in the middle rounds when Manny started to slow down. Of course, once you get older, you start doing a lot less, and you get more easily tired. But he showed up. Taking the fight to the center of the ring and being more aggressive in the later rounds.
60 seconds.
But, it was too little too late for me. I think what you guys were saying earlier about whether Keith loses it, like he's not going to be the same anymore. I tend to disagree because, I mean, judging by the post-fight interview he gave, I thought he felt like the weight's been lifted off his shoulder. I mean, I've been saying that being undefeated is like overrated. And I think he might bounce back from this. I mean, for him, there's no shame in losing to a legend like Manny Pacquiao.
I agree, man. I agree. There's shame in the sense that if he thought he was the best welterweight in the world and that he was going to be able to take out an old Manny Pacquiao, and he couldn't even. I mean, he did land some good shots, snapped Pacquiao's
10
head back.
seconds.
All right, we gotcha. So, but yeah, man, I mean, he did what he had to. He did what he had to. Now, where do you see, by the way, the time is over, but you're still on the line. You're not going to get hung up on. So, just real quick, where do you see Pacquiao going next, or who would you like to see him fight next?
For me, it would be Sean Porter. I mean, I think Sean, like, he likes to, he really brings it. I mean, I don't know about Errol Spence. I don't think he has much time in in the welterweight division. He would rather, he's a big guy. He could be moving up in weight. But I would like to see him fight. Sean Porter. Both aggressive fighters that go after it. Could make for an aggressive, for a very electric fight. Styles makes fight.
You know what? I think it would be the Jeff Horn fight all over again. I wouldn't want to see that one. I think Sean Porter would just make for a mauling, horrible affair. But you never know. This is boxing. I mean, how many people expected Keith Thurman to stand his ground as much as he did against Pacquiao?
I think they were sparring partners for like forever.
Yeah, they were sparring partners. Him and the other guy that looks like Sean Porter. What's his name? Kareem Mayfield.
Yeah.
So he's
Mayfield. Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I also wanted to add, like, Luis Neri, you know, I impressive win, but I like to see him get his ass fucking whooped by Inoue, you know, next year.
Right. Now you can swear,
Yeah,
you can swear because you're a listener, but I think if you swear 2 times in a row, Mistress 500 shuts you out. So, by the way, 929 people in the chat room are saying, "Who is this guy?" You've called him before, right?
Yes, it's Virtuoso.
Virtuoso. Okay, yeah, I knew I recognized your voice, but I.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, excuse me for not introducing myself. You know.
No, that's okay. I didn't ask you.
Day.
Yeah, I didn't. I should have asked you. I should have asked you. But yeah, Luis Neri, completely agree with you. This guy, get him out of there.
Yeah. It's time to get the drug sheet out of there. You know, I'd rather see them, rather than get suspended, I'd rather see them get their ass beat. You know.
And I think he's in danger, man, because if he's got that beard, he looks like a Muslim. He gets arrested, he might get his ass accidentally sent over to Guantanamo. So I mean, he should cut that beard off, get serious about boxing. Otherwise, he's gonna get sent to Cuba. All right, so Virtuoso, anything else you want to say before we go?
You know what? I thought it was about the pre-fight. I think show. I think when I saw Wilder and Ruiz Jr. having a laugh, I thought it was good nature. You know, bantered. You know, I think they could share the ring someday, but I don't know. You know, it's so unpredictable what the heavyweight division is going to be like. You know, next year. I mean, what Ruiz did this year is like really shook things up. But you never know, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's Al Heyman in charge, the PBC, and some guys demanding $100 million for a fight. You never know. Anyway, Virtuoso, we got to go. Thank you for calling in, and thank you for your contributions and listening to the show.
Anytime, man. Take care.
All right. Fantastic. Take it easy, man.
I'm asking a question honestly, like the thing with Neary and this drug cheat thing, it's probably the first time that I really, really heard about him was a big headline about him getting banned from fighting in Japan. And then I've seen him on a few of these, I want to say top rank, maybe DAZN cards.
Yeah.
His last fight was on the undercard of Shakur Stevens. But what's the deal with not wanting to see any more of him? Because he failed these drug tests. Like that's your problem with him, BDA?
My problem is he keeps missing weight. I mean, this is about third time. He's been caught on steroids. He beat the crap out of that poor Japanese fighter. It looked like World War II all over again, except it was a Mexican, not an American beating him. So no. So
when was that?
Was that?
When was that? This was a fight over in Japan before he got banned.
It was. He fought the guy twice. Listen, I'm gonna pull up the details about exactly what or maybe somebody else that knows can let us know exactly what he did. Now, some people are gonna say, "Oh, BDA, you dislike the guy, and you didn't even know what he did." I lost the details for a while here. All right, but essentially, yeah, man, he missed weight. Hold on a second. I'm trying to do the.
Oh, Japan? He beat a guy's ass, and then he got busted post-fight for steroids.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what the outrage is. I understand.
Stop hating, bro. BDA, stop hating, bro.
Listen. For real, man. This guy, boxing is hard enough. You saw what happened with Dadashev a couple of days ago. This guy's still in the hospital, I think. If you want to cheat at sprinting or at volleyball or whatever the heck, okay, do that. Nobody's getting hurt. But when it's a contact sport like boxing and it's guys fighting each other and you're taking something and the other guy might not, listen, like we've said before on the show, most top fighters are probably on something, but we don't know. Neary got caught, he beat the crap out of this guy, and then he got caught with the juicing. So he could have killed this man, and because he was juicing, or because he was cheating. Let's not call it juicing, all right? But still, that's what pisses me off the most.
He's from TJ. He's from Tijuana. I mean, I'm also from TJ, but they're kind of shady over there.
That's why you defend the guy, yeah?
So Gonzalo, you shady?
Am I shady? I used to be a little bit. But not so much anymore.
Yeah,
Gonzalo is saying 6'9". I'm like 6'9", 700 square feet, huh?
Hey, listen.
That was where they filmed the movie Get the Gringo. It used to be like an open population type of deal, but then they turned it into where everybody had to be locked down when I got there.
Bay Area in the chat room keeps saying, complaining that we're criticizing Luis Neri, but she doesn't seem to refute any of the points we're making about that this guy's a cheater and his cheating almost could have cost a guy his life. She just keeps going on about Mexicans discrimination. I don't understand with fellow Mexicans, they stick to their own no matter what. Even if the guy does something wrong, oh, we gotta defend the Mexicans. We gotta defend the Mexicans. What if it would have done something to your husband, Bay Area? You wouldn't be speaking the same thing, right? Now all of a sudden things are going to get personal.
Yeah, but listen, I'm scrolling up in Bay Areas. I think his point is that, which I kind of agree with, if I'm not mistaken here, but I think he's saying it's kind of not naive to single out one fighter or the other for PEDs when it's really just the reality of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I even want to see these guys clean. I think it's just going to be less of a fight. I think you'd be disappointed if it was truly clean boxing. I think the fight last night wouldn't have looked as good. But I understand what you're saying.
I could imagine. I was going to say I could imagine Barrier with a sombrero every time he comes on the BDA channel.
But listen,
yeah, the Mexican thing, forget about that. No one gives a shit about that. I'm saying though, I think his bigger point is that to single out Neri for failing a test, then you don't know how many failed tests any of these guys have had. You know what I'm saying? Like it's only when they're disclosed through some kind of legal proceeding or some kind of a leak or a commission publicizes them. But I mean, shit, there's no telling how many times these guys have failed. You know what I mean?
Listen. I agree with her point or the point that you are making. Yeah, it's true. I'm not just singling Neri out because of that. It's also the missed weight. It's not the first time.
Yeah, the missed weight thing is like these guys need to move up if they're going to do that. He looked like death on the scale last night. I don't think I've ever seen him weigh in, but he looked like the damn crypt keeper in that weigh-in 2 days ago. He looked horrible. I don't think he could barely stand up, man. He could barely face off at the end against. And when they told him he had to lose a pound, you could hear his trainers on the open mic telling Bob Bennett, "Forget about it. We don't need the hour. We're not going to try to lose it."
See, that's what I dislike.
I don't think he had a pound to lose. Do you? He looked like half a pound.
Yeah, I saw that too. He looked pretty drained, bro. He looked pretty sickly. You're right.
Why does Gonzalo? Why do you keep saying half a pound? You use half a pound over or what?
Half a pound over, 18 and he was 118 and a half. That's 8 ounces. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I think if it's over a pound too, if it's over a pound, the fight can't happen. Maybe pound and a half, it cannot. But if it's like a half a pound, underneath a pound, it's up to the discretion of the other camp. And if the commission or the commission, yes, if they agree, it's a go. Maybe there's like a little bit of a fine there. I don't know. But yeah, like the jumps from 118 to 122, it's not that big. If you're looking like death, why not just fight in the at 122 and come in stronger? If you punch that hard, which he does, I mean, it'll carry. It's not like he's jumping from 160 to 175 or anything,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Some of these guys.
It wasn't because he was punching hard. It was mostly because the way he beat that kid yesterday is because he was landing a better shots. He was keeping his foot on the ground, and that guy was just bouncing around, hoping he does the Pacquiao thing and it becomes effective on him. It wasn't working out for him. He won the first couple of rounds, but after that, Neri just he's like, I'm gonna knock this kid out because he leaves himself open every single time he jumps in.
Mm-hmm.
No, but he does it hard. You know why? Because the guy was rolling, was cringing, was wincing in the ground, and it's the same exact thing he did last fight. The guy was in pain. Also, like he was in the ground, and he was like making faces and in visible pain. Like not just I got down, I got knocked out. That's it. No, he was twisting and turning. You didn't see his face, Payano?
Yeah, that was a good stoppage, man. He could, but yeah, if he eats a donut, he's gonna go all the way up to 126, man. So, nah. Well, we'll have to see. We still have to see Inoue versus Donaire, which is they're trying to make it for November, and then after that, I want to see Inoue against Tete. Hopefully, that fight can get made. Listen, at this point, we gotta what?
No, I was just gonna say, I remember listening or reading a long time ago. I forgot who they asked, but somebody in a boxing question, they asked like who hit harder, like Mike Tyson or like Ernie Shavers, and like the response was like if Ernie Shavers hit you, you could go to the hospital like for 2 weeks and in pain, but if Mike Tyson like he hit you, you could drive home like the next day, you know. But there's like different types of powers.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather get knocked out than take a beating. The type of beating that Dadashev took, for example. Ooh, that's getting hit in the body, getting hit on the arms, top of the head. Nah, that's
depends what kind of knockout you get. If you get the Spilka knockout that happened yesterday.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, like you said, the key word is depends, because if you get knocked out that bad, sometimes you're gonna need depends for the rest of your life. What were you gonna say, Gonzalo? Sorry.
No, I'm just saying that was kind of like crazy how the referee just was like looking at the last two shots. He didn't interfere or anything. He was just like perplexed.
Yeah. Some of these refs, they get surprised by what happens. All right, listen, guys, we got to go. I want to thank you for being on and giving us your opinion and your predictions. Most of you got, you were, even if you got it wrong, you were in the right stratosphere. Nobody really went all the way and said, Keith Thurman by convincing decision or dominant decision. Nobody said Keith Thurman by 6-round knockout or 1st-round knockout. So we were all in the relatively correct stratosphere. So I want to thank you guys for coming on.
I want money that day. I forgot I had money on this shit. I had like $213 on that shit. I won about $235.
No kidding.
You have been fined 1 credit for 1 violation of the verbal morality statute.
Well, you just lost part of those winnings. I mean, I'm not going to ask you how much you bet, though.
All right.
I'm not going to ask you how much you bet, but did you do well or did you take a big risk?
No, I bet when Pacquiao was the underdog. It was like a couple months ago. Was it like a month ago, half or something? I don't remember exactly. And he was like plus 110 at that time.
Uh-huh.
I bet like 200 at that time. So I won. I don't know. They gave me 235 off of that.
Nice, man. Nice.
That was pretty good.
Big spender.
I forgot about it though. Like the fight was happening. I'm like, wait a minute. Did I have money on this fight? And I did have money on this fight. Checked online. I'm like, holy crap, I did one.
Nice. Good for you. I think that the worst thing about betting, gambling, is winning. Because then you start thinking that you're all that.
I want my fucking money!
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's the thing. You want the money and then you want to keep going. I don't know. But I guess the worst thing about... Some people say that. Somebody told me that, the worst thing about gambling is winning. I think the worst part is losing. When you got to deal with the shame and all that. So
losing's much worse.
Exactly.
Hey, I want to say a couple things before we go. Number one, I need to correct something. Neri did make weight. He did lose. He was a half pound over at the weigh-in, and he did come back under 118. So he didn't miss weight last night. The second thing is that with regard to the betting, I don't know if people that fight opened up with Pacquiao as an underdog, and that's pretty much the last thing that these books have to do with the line. Everything else is determined by the money that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you see the line shifting around from Pacquiao an underdog to Pacquiao favored by the time the fight went off, and really it has to do with the amount of money that's coming in on either fighter. A sports book wants it to even out 50-50. In a perfect world, they make their 10% if everybody evens out, So it's not like they got some inside information and they shift the line like that. They don't shift the money line because of some rumor or anything else. They open it after some thought, and then they see where the money comes in after that. Shit.
If they knew that well enough, they shouldn't have put 1-11 on Ruiz, or they shouldn't have put 1-33 in England and on Ruiz neither. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, and you know what else was ridiculous? The fact that you almost swore there. But you got out of it though. You got out of it. That's good. You're adapting. You're a Marine. You adapt, you
Yeah.
overcome. No, you adapt, improvise, overcome. Or I forget what they say. All right, so
they put under 33 on Ruiz because that much money was coming in on
Joshua,
on AJ. You understand that? I'm sure boxing style knows how it works. I don't need to bore him with that. The third thing I'm going to say is this: you can't scratch your balls in Las Vegas without being on camera somewhere. The surveillance is out of control with any casino, but I wish I could get an overhead camera above these judges when they're deliberating with these scorecards, because I swear to God, it takes. I don't score the fight round by round when I'm watching it. Some other people that are watching the fight with me do. I just don't have time to sit there and take notes on round by round. So I can tell you when a score seems off to me. But that fight last night was ebb and flow. All the rounds pretty much. The fight went about how I expected, with Pacquiao coming out very early, very sharp, and Keith Thurman trying to turn the tide on him midway through the fight. Pacquiao's he was able to maintain that pace, not totally, but I think that body shot to Keith Thurman derailed a little bit of his plan. But nevertheless, after the fight, what the hell is taking so long to get these fucking scorecards in? I'm sorry, I'm gonna take another
fucker in the mouth, fucker in the ass. Come on,
penalty, but what in the hell are they talking about down there? They're scoring them round by round, allegedly. Why don't they just hand their cards in and get them announced? The long delay just makes it look bad,
Yeah, and I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, why did it takes so long to tally those scorecards sometimes? Somebody said that they don't even. The joke is sometimes as judges they fill in the scorecards beforehand. They already know who's going to win, or they already decided who's going to win. But you're right. I mean, who said that? So somebody said that in the last episode or before last episode. Put a camera over the judges, their scorecard, so we can see live round by round what they're. But then again, that's sort of defeats the purpose. The suspense of the fight, I suppose. You're right.
I mean, if they haven't filled in ahead of time, it should take about 10 seconds to get the scorecards announced, right? I mean, if they haven't filled in ahead of time, then what's fucking taking so long? It's just that, and again, I know you can't have a camera. I don't need to see them actually putting pencil to paper per round, although that would probably be nice. They don't want to disclose.
I guess you got.
They don't want to have.
You got to tally it.
Say again.
I guess you got to tally it and kind of go over it again, and somebody's got to do it for you too to just verify it, because once you put it out there, it's kind of like Steve Harvey when he announced the beauty queen pageant. You can't just call it back and say, "Oh, well, we got it wrong."
Right.
You have to make sure that you know what you say, because how rarely do you see somebody get announced, but then they say, "Oh, well, we had it wrong. This guy didn't actually win, but the other guy did." Maybe that's why.
Yeah, we've seen instances in boxing where that happens, where they announce the decision and whoops, it turns out they tallied, they didn't add the scorecards properly, and they got to go in the back, in the locker room and tell the other guy, "Hey, give me back the belt."
Oh yeah, it just happened to Korobov, right?
Oh yeah, Korobov. That was the one. That's the fight that happened like that. Korobov clearly won, but they made it a draw or something. I forgot what it was.
The Korobov decision took forever to come out. The Fury Wilder decision took forever to come out, to get announced. It's always when there's a long delay. It's always when there's a long delay between the fight being over and the actual scorecards being ready. They ring that bell to make the announcement.
Pacquiao Marquez, one of the referees, instead of scoring like your 10-8 when you have a knockdown, there was 3 knockdowns in the first round. One guy had it like a 10-7 instead of a 10-6, and that's why it was scored a draw in their first fight.
Yeah, but they can't. When you can't argue with the judge on the side of the ring apron and tell him, "Oh no, there was 3 knockdowns in this first round. You got to score. You got to deduct 3 points and make it a 10-6 round." You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. That's not the way. There's no negotiation with these judges on the side.
No, I'm just saying they added it wrong, and just because it was a simple clerical mistake, I guess they kept it that way.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised why they didn't change. Maybe Bob Arum saw that it was better to leave it as a draw and market the rematch, which took about 4 years to make afterwards. But yeah, listen, this whole thing with the judge, there's a whole bunch of things wrong with boxing. It's like when they wanted the open scoring, and then they actually started doing it at WBC, and it just took the sales right out of the fight. So, all right, I'm gonna have to go. We're gonna have to end it. I absolutely have to go. But I want to thank all of you guys for coming in and giving us your opinion on the post-fight. I want to give a shout out to Stu, who was here earlier. Recognize Gonzalo, Gypsy Boxing Style, of course. Pete, McGregor was here as well earlier. Bucho, my co-host, who sort of disappeared for some reason. I don't know where he is. Bucho, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Yeah, you stayed silent for about the last.
Yeah, but there wasn't not much to say.
There wasn't much to say.
Did you drink too, Bucho?
Yeah, yesterday, yeah. I'm still a bit tired, man.
Anyway, listen, thank you for being on, guys. Listen, we got some great fights coming up this week, so we're going to do a midweek show to talk about that and some of the... Hey, listen, Sean Porter, Errol Spence taking place in September. Canelo's not going to be fighting in September because they couldn't agree on an opponent, but we still have a mega fight in September. Well, a mega fight, yeah. Well, yeah, I'll call it a mega fight. Porter, Spence might be an ugly fight, but on paper, it's as good as it gets. So we'll talk about that later on as well. I'm going to watch the Teofimo Lopez fight and talk about more about it. So I want to thank you guys for joining us, and thank you for your contributions. Thank you for being on last night as well during that marathon 10-hour podcast. That was a fun one. And that's about it, guys. Thank you for joining us. Anything else you want to say before we go? No?
I'll take care, guys.
I'll donate some money later on. I was going to say for the winnings.
Yeah, that's true. You should. That's true. You should. You should be a good sport.
Always a good idea.
Be a good egg and do that. I also want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room. Let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat room, man. Official Scorecard Boxing, Red Glove Militant, The Quags, Fight Scout, Unrivaled Boxing Talk, Eddie, Bagmaster, Azzy, The Quags. Who else do we have here? Kemal, Boxing, MMA, Azzy. I already said Azzy. I'm not going to say Azzy twice. Steven Schneider, Corruption in Boxing. Precise was in there as well for a little while. Bay Area Boxing. John Gonzalez. Beefing Boss. Who else? Why are you laughing, Pete?
I like the way you read the names in the chat. Beefy Boss.
Well, I don't know if that's how you spell it, so I'm hesitating a little bit. Boxing for IBF, Transnational Inc., and many more people. See you on Tuesday, says King Bucho. Yes, thank you for joining us, everybody. Thank you for being on the show. We'll be back later on during the week. Thank you for... who did the contribution again, Bucho? Hold on. Let me... trying to look here for the super chat. Gotta open up a new window. Seamus Carey as well. Subhash Kunwar. Can't forget those guys. Thank you to Chris K, aka Undercover Asian, for the contribution. He says he watched the fight in the movie theater and that everybody was on their feet. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to check out the Instagram page, and don't forget to check out the Discord page where a lot of us are hanging out in there. It's like a mini second renaissance, so don't forget to check that out. Thank you for your contributions again. Thank you for listening. Check out the merchandise, the BDA merchandise, made and designed by the best metrosexual Europeans. And we'll see you on the next one, folks. Take it easy. Have a good one.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Totally disappointed in everyone. All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in everyone.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be alright, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Lobito! You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.